3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin the Racin.
And welcome back to Chasin the Racin, brought to you by Benetton OMG. And actually, because we're all corporate slags here, we can mention the fact that we have a space behind the very festive gnome elf. I'm not sure if that's racist or not. I don't know what you can say these days about Christmas.
I'd imagine there would be some people who would take offence to whichever one you picked in the current climate.
We have a dwarf on a shelf, but behind that you have an opportunity to jump on board with Chasin the Racin. Please get in touch with Grace. I've totally forgotten the email, and that's how professional we are here. But this episode is the co-host of Josh Corner, the very hungover Josh Corner. How are you doing, son?
I'm grand, yeah.
Yeah,
very
wow,
well,
yeah, very inspiring. Very inspiring. And a lot of you will probably already recognise the voice, but tonight's guest is none other than the returning Billy Bolt. How are we doing, son?
I'm good. Excited to be back.
In a very different location.
Yeah, different. It's actually a similar climate, though. I was driving here and... was it either 2020 or 2021 I was last year.
I tell you what, I've made notes on the back of me envelopes here. You know, that's how professional how it gets. But we've actually had you on twice.
Yeah, the first one was a Skyper.
It was, and that was episode 45.
What are you up to now?
This will be 203, Josh?
203, yeah.
203, you know what I mean? So it's like, that was Skype. That was a big beginning of the old COVID, wasn't it? And then the last time we caught you was in Chrissy's studio on his drive, and that was episode 90. And that was 2021. So
so they're both a while.
It's been 2 years
that
since.
was also COVID because I breached lockdown conditions to come to you that night. I do apologise if any law enforcement officers had clocked my whereabouts. Has something happened there?
Yeah, no, I think that's still recording. Don't worry, it's us. Now, a few of you, and I know most of our viewers are on the audio side of it, so it make no difference to them at all. But on the YouTube, we are in a total different location. We're in my living room, and Facebook Marketplace supplied all of the backdrop here. Free sofa, free letters, free everything.
Oh, is this sofa just brought in to do this now?
Literally, mate, we have no carpet, blinds, nothing. We thought we got Billy Bolt turning up. We better actually get some furniture around the place. But no, like I say, a total different atmosphere that we've got going. But where the hell have you come from this time? Because
literally from Liverpool is the reason. I was at the FIM Awards in Liverpool last night.
Oh, is that what?
So if anyone's thinking he looks or sounds like he's a bit rough and he's been out for the last 3 days, that's also quite accurate, to be honest.
Is that where you were?
It wasn't where I was, but I feel a bit the same, yeah.
So yeah, I've had quite a busy few days, to be honest. We had like a Day of Champions at KTM on Thursday, which they have like every year. All world champions get invited in
at KTM?
At KTM, yeah. KTM and Husqvarna.
That was going to be my first question coming up. I thought it was... Oh, it is the same company, isn't it?
So the KTM group, owns Husqvarna, Gas, KTM, a few others. Quite the
CF Motor.
CF Motor, AV Agusta, or MV Agusta.
Yeah, MV Agusta now as well, yeah.
They're taking over, KTM. Mr. Pira. Anyway, so I was there Thursday, and then it was the FIM Gala Awards thing Saturday night. So they flew her from Austria to Liverpool Friday. Red carpet, suited and booted last night. Train up from Liverpool this afternoon, back to Newcastle, and you've caught us for 24 hours in Newcastle before I fly back to Spain tomorrow afternoon.
Bloody, because where are you based out of? Now, we all know, for people that don't know, and you can probably pick up on the Geordie accent, you haven't lost, by the way. Not
That's
one
good.
bit of it.
I was a bit, it's talking to you, it's easier, because I do see a lot of videos, I just think, what the fuck are you doing yourself talking about that? But it's hard, it is hard to keep it at times, but it is, whenever, if someone from home rings us or my dad rings us when I'm away, everyone else I'm sat with just sits there and goes, what on earth did you just say? They didn't understand a word of it. So if anyone's thinking that's not what you normally sound like, this is actually what I normally sound like when I'm around.
This is the real Billy.
My normal people, the my hometown people. But yeah, I'm in Andorra now for most of the time, or based there. I've lived there for 2 years now.
Is that for tax reasons by any chance?
No, well, it obviously helps. that helps.
Just don't mess about, Dom. Straight out with
Wait, you got. Hey, look, right. I'm sorry, but you can take Wall's End. Sorry, you can get the lad
evasion.
out the Wall's End, but you can't get the Wall's End.
Is that
out
where
the
you,
lad,
is that
can
where
you?
you're originally from, Billy? From
yeah,
Wallsend?
from Wallsend. Was like lived there all my life pretty much until I started riding and kind of competing globally. I'd kind of spent pretty little time at home anyway, and was literally just here, there, and everywhere for best part of like 5 years pretty much. Spent most of the winter time, pretty much every winter since I was like 17, 18 in Barcelona anyway. And then I had thought about Andorra and I'd spent quite a bit of time there anyway. Obviously this now in the motorbike world or like motorsport world, it's kind of become the main hub for kind
Lots
of
of people are
everybody.
there, yeah.
Really?
There's just massive crew of people there now.
I think Taz McKenzie's moved up there as well,
Taz is
hasn't he?
there, Brad's there,
Yeah,
John McPhee's there.
Okay, right. Okay, pardon my ignorance, but why is that the hub? Is it tracks or is it?
No, I think that, well, obviously
it is a tax.
there's
It is a tax haven.
But that's without you do yourself no justice trying to argue any other reason, but it generally is a nice place to be. And like also now since Brexit, being in Europe with a British passport, that was the deciding factor for me. So I'd thought about it for probably 3 years, and I'd been on the fence. I'd started the paperwork. I'd kind of met with the people that help you do the residency stuff or whatever, and I just hadn't got around to finalising stuff just because I'm lazy and useless.
Hold on. Let me interrupt you there because those words do not fit your character at all. Lazy and fit, not a chance, man.
In terms of admin or
Life admin
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Hold on, for everything like anyway. That's a different subject. Continue going. What you were going.
Anyway, yeah, like I said, yeah, I'd been on the fence of moving there and getting set up there for a while, and then after Brexit, that first year of Brexit, when nobody really even still to this day knows what the official rules are, what you're supposed to do, but like technically you're allowed to spend 90 days every 180 days in Europe, which is so 3 months every 6 months.
Got you.
So like at any time, pick a date and go back 6 months from that, and you can only have spent 3 months in Europe, which the first year after Brexit, I'd also blew that law out the water completely, and thankfully I didn't get checked.
Yeah.
But I spent the whole year just every time I come back of that passport control saying, please don't fucking count these steps. Please don't count these steps.
But the mad thing is not even that. They could just check YouTube, couldn't they?
Well, but that...
Hold on, where is he now?
You're working though, aren't you? So like, does that?
This,
Ah.
to this day, well, I know people I personally didn't... everyone was pretty in the same boat. Everyone was overstaying. Nobody knew literally like officially what you meant to do about it. People spoke to lawyers, people spoke to whatever, and like it's still, to my knowledge, nobody really knows officially what you're meant to do. Like obviously you should get a visa somewhere, but then the problem is you should then get a visa in whichever country you're going to spend the most time, but that's also quite hard to know.
Yeah.
You're then probably going to end up having to pay tax in both UK and in the next country, whether it be Spain, Italy. I spent quite a lot of time in Italy also because the team that I ride for was based in Italy.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so after that first year Brexit and just the mess of not knowing where I could be, when I could be there, and like the stress as well, because it's pretty stressful knowing like you probably have stayed here too long, and if someone really does want to get arsey, like you could probably end up in bother here.
What would have been the max penalty at that point?
I think they can like ban you from coming back, at least blacklist you from coming back for a period of time.
Like fully deport you.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, also, I know I'm relatively experienced in
deportation.
Deportation, but borders in rules because Roxy, my fiance, is South African.
Congratulations, by the way.
And she's travelled on a South African passport the whole time we've been together, and they don't like South Africans anywhere. She's got,
really?
No, she's got
that.
to have a visa every country and gets grilled so hard at passport control, like grilled, interrogated. She's been detained, like given a letter saying she's been detained at airports while they vet the passport and check out.
Bloody
like,
hell.
Yeah, she gets grilled bad. Like I've been at airports to pick her up before. And
Is this because like your future wife's kicking off with them?
No, just as soon as they see a green South African passport, anyone that travels with one will tell you like that's just hard work to travel anyway.
Really?
I've been at
Didn't know
airports
that.
to pick her up before, and like the border force has called me and said, "Are you expecting anybody to arrive into the country?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been stood at the airport 40 minutes." Like, what?
Where is she?
and they're like, want to know like how much money have you got in your bank account? Yeah, like me, just because I'm the one. Like,
we don't want you getting picked on. So
well, they're like, we need to know that you can support her, and she's not here to try and find herself a job or not leave, and like, it's mad.
Yeah, that's
So like, I knew how hectic they can be at borders and stuff like that. So this first year after Brexit, well, I'm just shitting myself all the time thinking I need to sort of out. So that was the deciding factor where I was like, right, I need to actually grow up a little bit, pick somewhere that I want to live, although I still don't spend a great deal of time in one place.
by the way, you sound like a 50-year-old bloke. You're only like 25 or something like that, aren't you? How old are you?
26.
He's been on the road that long, he doesn't even know how old he is.
Well, I don't, because I said 2 days ago, I said 25, and someone corrected us and said I was 26. I was born in 1997.
That's mental. And like the way, no, it's just, it is bewildering how you're talking. You're talking about like jumping out of passports, deportation, you're getting married. It's just like, that's crazy.
So anyway, yeah, I'm pretty busy. I think that's a bit of a mismatch of a way to introduce myself, but I'm busy, put it that way. So yeah, like I said, that was the deciding factor. Like I need to actually sort myself out, get set up in Andorra.
So you're there full time now?
So yeah, especially like winter months, because my Super Enduro season, which is like the indoor racing,
right,
which started last weekend.
How are we getting on?
I won last weekend.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Off to a good start.
I mean, we don't expect anything else now, but
championship.
You've only just met him and you're like, no, you're going to have to win everything now, Billy.
So, yeah, I spend most of the time in winter for, like I say, the last 5 years anyway, in training in Barcelona for that, because the tracks here this time of year are just too wet. We don't really have any proper ones in this country. And so I like being Andorra and usually drive down to Barcelona, which is like just over 2 hours, stay in my camper van for like 2-3 days, ride Super Enduro, or ride motocross, whatever. There's a lot of tracks, there's a lot of riding kind of in that whole area, and then back to Andorra for the rest of the week, or if I've got various other events or whatever. So this time of year is just manic with events and meetings and dinners and shows, and kind of just blurs into one. The last 3 weeks have just been chaos, but.
And between all that, you are doing your own vlogs, which are like, I'm not just saying this because you're sitting opposite, are just absolutely, you know what, it's just crack, if you know what I mean. The production, it's you, like your wife, Tommy Searles, Ed, just taking the piss out of each other, and you're getting, the views are just absolutely nuts. Because like in episode 90, when we sat down with like Chrissy, we're talking about when like the numbers were not even low then. They were talking like 20,000, but now they're going well into the 80s, 90s. Did you expect that? Can you see it going further? Is it just, it must be insane, as well as fitting everything that you're doing now around that list that you just told us.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm busy.
You can see the sweat rolling off of me. Going, oh God, this is just, what have I done? What have I done?
But I don't really know. In some ways I did, because I'd always been a fan of like YouTube and people on that side of the fence, kind of content creators or athletes that just focused on that. And since I was a kid, since I was like in school, I'd always followed a lot more, I think, than most people would in that world. And even not even like athletes or bike riders, just actual vloggers or YouTubers or whatever. So I'd always been very interested in it. So I knew the potential of what it could be, but at the same time, it is hard when you're kind of juggling both. Whereas being I mean, I know for a fact if I But if I focus solely on that, it would grow at a faster rate, and I think it could get bigger. But at the same time, it's not my priority at the minute. I still want to race. I still want to win. I still got races I want to win.
Taking it along with you.
Exactly. I do spend a lot of time on it. Don't get us wrong. And I joke around to the team or whatever. I'm just racing for fun this weekend. I'm actually here to make a YouTube video. You do it, and I say to the team manager, I'm actually YouTubing this weekend. I'm just racing your bike for fun, as a joke. But
if the results weren't okay, there's a question. If the results started to lack, would you knock the vlogs on the head?
No. I mean, it's easy to say no, but then at the same time, I guess if results were going downhill, you would probably question a lot more. And it is a fine line, and I've seen so many other people do it and start and not stop after 2 or 3 videos up. I think people, first of all, don't realise how much time it actually takes up, and they get a shock and they can't do it. Whereas to me, it's I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it and want to do it and want to learn about it and actually want to improve on it. So it's I'm happy to spend that time. Don't get us wrong, if I feel I haven't rode enough or there's something training or testing wise that needs to be done,
that's the priority.
I'm happy to not bother doing a video like this. Last 2 weeks I haven't had a video out this weekend and haven't even got one planned. I don't know when. I'll hopefully try and get one at some point in the middle of this week, but this time of year I've been so busy with kind of needing to be at all these events that I've been to, and just obviously had the first round of the Super Enduro World Championship last weekend too, so I've been training quite a lot and hard leading up to that. So like I said, this little period of a few weeks I hadn't really thought, I haven't even bothered making a video. So I can switch off. I think I can choose when to put it on and when to put it off, and when I want to focus on it and when not. And like I said, it's not my priority as much as I like to joke around that it is, but racing still is 100% my priority for the moment. But I feel however much the YouTube and that side of stuff can grow in the background, it's only going to benefit, because probably one day the tides will switch a little bit, and it's powerful in itself already. It has a value, 100%,
massively.
and for how it's helped me grow my brand, and even just the way I've things I've learned from doing it and stuff like that. It is been 100% worth doing, put it that way.
Because you've definitely, in my opinion, you've definitely, without a doubt, set a bar. It's we joke about it all the time, but a good friend of the show is Sugar Tits, and then you've got Hayden Stat, his son, and it's he watches all your stuff, and then he's watching there's a perfect example, and we'll talk about him probably heavily, but Brian Deegan. Hayden Deegan.
Yeah.
You look at what he's done, and even you were recently on an episode of Gypsy Tales, and they follow very they're a podcast that follow deeply into the motocross world as well as the enduro. And it's even one of his episodes, he was talking about how his earlier life, and he started off essentially as a vlogger and turned it around the other way, when you've actually started off as a racer, trials racing first, we're trials riding first, and then you went into motocross.
No, I never motocross.
Now, I've got my facts mixed up, because you wanted to be a motocross racer, is that right?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Aye.
I actually started with motocross. I've got a bit pumping, I'm stuck in my throat. I've been coughing for the last 2 hours. I wanted to be a motocross rider when I was very young, and when I was 6, I actually did 2 or 3 races on a 50. Just a rev and go, fucking crash my brains out. Literally didn't. I was what you'd expect a 6-year-old to do a motocross race but yeah, my parents just didn't really like the atmosphere of motocross, especially
I get that
in the northeast.
And since doing the full circle and now going back there just for fun, not these days, I'm fuck, there's no wonder that my mum and dad didn't want us hanging in this environment. So like I said, did a couple of races, and then they didn't like it. And one of the races, I can't really remember much, but a kid in my race crashed and broke his neck and got helicoptered off, or I don't know if he broke his neck, but he got helicoptered off, neck brace on, and they were
that was
all
it.
my mom was not that. And I don't think that actually really put them off. I think it was generally more just the atmosphere and like if you didn't have a big motorhome with 2 bikes parked outside of it, no one really wanted to talk to you and like that kind of stuff. So my dad's friend, one of his close friends that lives just around the corner from us, his son was already doing trials and he's like 5 or 6 years older than me and was pretty successful doing like British Championship and stuff like that. So he said, give him a trials bike, and that was it really. Just got told, ride this, we're doing this now. Went from there and did trials all my life, only trials all my life until I was 18 when I changed to enduro.
You see, but like your career in enduro racing is like incredibly, well, to be blunt, short. You know, you've achieved so much in such a short window. But even like going back, like in those first episodes, even you said, "Hold on, I'm going to get this wrong, Josh," and I'm going to go. The cables are getting pulled all over the gaff. That's all right. No, and it's like even you said it was like, hold on, I'm going to get this wrong. But did you say you were a failed trial rider? Oh no, you said you could only get to a point with this country.
Yeah, no, I was,
in trials.
I would say it felt like I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve in trials, put it that way. And I was pretty good. I got like second 3 times in World Junior Championship rounds and like got to a good level. But there's just so few opportunities in trials.
Yeah. In the UK, especially
being in the UK kind of makes it even harder really because this time of year it's so difficult to ride and to train, and like the industry is pretty much 95% based in Spain for trials. So if you're there, it's a lot easier.
And was that the driver for enduro?
Yeah, so I'd seen, to be fair, even I did want to and would have liked to try to get to a slightly higher level at trials. I would have liked to have made it to the elite, the premier class at World Championship. But I did always envision myself making the switch at some point, probably like early 20s as opposed to like 18.
You see, you didn't say that last time. You said, was that always on your radar? Actually,
because I'd seen how successful so many other riders had been at making the switch, and I think because I'd always been such a big fan of every other kind of discipline, I'd followed motocross, enduro, road racing. I literally would read the magazines, everything for like every single discipline as a kid. So I had quite a lot of knowledge and just understanding of it all anyway. And like I said, I always thought I'd quite like to go to enduro one day. And then end of 2015, after I'd had 3 podiums at like World Junior Championship, I still didn't have a ride for the following year. That wasn't going to still heavily rely on sponsors and my parents.
Yeah.
And that was like the top and bottom of it really. I was like, it's probably not going to happen. And then there was a few people at the same time, like kind of encouraging us, saying like, I think
you should have a go.
Yeah, like there's a good chance you're going to be able to make a career doing this. Have a go. So that was pretty much it. 2016 or like December 2015, I bought a bike. Bought the money off my mum, bought a bike. And that was about it. Just crashed my brains out for a few months. Ended up at a few races and I'd signed for Factory Husky the end of that first year.
It's the first year in the discipline, factory rider.
Yeah, pretty much, which is mad. And like I had a lot of good people helping us. I don't want to like seem like I just turned up in the van by myself at races and got in a factory. Like I had quite a lot of good people like in my corner. Julian Stevens, who was at the time quite involved with Johnny Walker, and had worked with a lot of other riders in the past. He was kind of like the main catalyst for me to make the switch, and he helped us in the first few months especially. He helped us a lot and advised us a lot and kind of got my name on the radar of the right people. And then had another guy who I bought the bike which I trained on, and another guy who kind of sponsored us the bike to go and do the races on, which it all just kind of fell in place really. Like I was literally had nothing. Like I was driving around in a Citroen Berlingo with all that.
There's not wrong with
I
that.
used to. No, I loved it. It was fucking sick. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Full of red diesel. Knee treading the tyres.
No, it's not yours. It's not your pickup.
I know that's who I bought it off, Billy.
But it wasn't even the van one. It was the one with windows all the way through, so it was classed as a car and I could get insurance on it.
Van insurance was always a nightmare.
Yeah, well, I just physically couldn't do it, especially, like, I don't know. I know some people have in family companies or whatever, but, like, just that was never an option. And, like, my postcode in Wallsend isn't the most favourable one on...
knee postcode in Wallsend.
That's what I mean. So this was classed as a multi-person vehicle and you could get car insurance and fit a motorbike in, so that was it. I was away and literally, like, fucking... taking tyres out the bins out the back of people's workshops and stuff, and like just full training. At races, I had quite like a good setup and people helping us, but like day to day through the week, I was like as jippo as it gets. Like,
like that.
I've snapped levers on both sides of handlebars at all times, like second-hand tyres off people all the time, and just literally going from one mate's sofa to the next mate's sofa, so I didn't have to drive all the way back up here. No, it was class. It was, and like I say, it worked. Got a couple of good, and I went to Erzberg that year with the help of Julian, and finished 5th at my first time from starting on the second row, which was like an Erzberg. Fucking hell.
That pom-pom's coming back for vengeance, isn't it?
Have you seen?
It's just
Have
like
you seen
tickle.
Nah.
Put it on YouTube later. It's unbelievable.
So anyway, that's like kind of well, it still is it's not the hardest race for us, but it's the biggest. Let's say it's like the one that has the most hype around it. It's like what all the eyes are on.
And then Romaniacs is a different one, isn't it?
Yeah, Romaniacs is the hardest one. That's like 5 days long in the mountains. Like, so that's quite a good story. So Erzberg, I messed up a bit in qualifying. I only ended up qualifying on the second row, which starts like a few minutes. Rows of 50. 2,000 people start.
I was about to say, that was my next question.
2,000 people go one by one up this dirt road to qualify, and then 500 people make it through to the final, which is 10 rows of 50, and set off like a couple of minutes apart. I messed up qualifying, so I ended up on the second row. And then, but only like a handful of people finished the race anyway, so just finish from the second row is pretty unheard of. Few people have done it before, but it's pretty unheard of. So anyway, I finished 5th from the second row, and that was like pretty much the story. No one heard of us at all.
That put you on the map.
Yeah,
then. Yeah.
I remember I got there, and Johnny had a broken leg at the time, so he wasn't riding. So I got given his space in the KDM truck, just because I was there with Julian, getting help from Julian, and I had like a poster made, Billy Bull, like proper booth, name on the pull up and everything, and everyone's just stood there looking at it.
All the mechanics and wasn't he in our bins last week?
Yeah, like literally.
Who the fuck's
people
this?
stood at the front of the truck, like I could see them reading this poster. I have zero clue who I was, like, which I mean, I wouldn't expect them to know, but like it was just.
And you went out
funny,
there.
then anyway,
done the job.
Anyway, I finished 5th, and like it was quite a big thing at the time, and everyone was loving it, and I thought I was the boy, obviously. I was 18, just finished 5th from the second row, blah blah blah. So then, because of that, I ended up getting some help together. A few more sponsors come on board. I went to do Romania, which was like 6 weeks later. And there's absolutely nothing anybody could say or do that would prepare you for Romaniacs. Like Erzberg is crazy and it's as mental as you would think, but at the same time, like it's for like a trials rider and a decent level trials rider, the track and what you ride over and stuff like that it might sound weird to say, but it's not that mental.
Yeah.
Whereas Romania, like I'd never really ridden mountains before, or not that I hadn't realised I hadn't really ridden in mountains before, and you get there and you're like in the middle of nowhere. Like the first day, I remember I got to the service point halfway through the first day, and like it felt like the longest I'd ever rode a motorbike for in my life. And I got there, I'm like, it's just nearly done. And they're like, no, you're halfway through. And I was just like, wow, these hills, this terrain, like there's nothing anyone could have said that would prepare us at all.
Is that an invitation event?
No, like anyone can go. There's like 700 people go and do that race.
And
How
do you
many-
have to?
But there's 4 different classes.
You must have to qualify to do that.
Yeah, you do. You do a prologue.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't really need to qualify. There's 4 different classes. So there's gold, silver, bronze, iron, and atom. So there's 5 different classes now.
Is that an endurance, like hardcore endurance period? Those classes.
Yeah, I mean, it tapers off pretty significantly, and the jump from silver to gold is pretty huge. But yeah, the gold class is by far, in my opinion, the hardest race. But anyway, like so the qualifying on the first day is in the city, just like some logs. laid out.
You're saying it like just some logs. It's not just some logs.
Well, yeah.
Some logs to you that you're fucking jumping over.
And we did like a media day the day before, like playing around, and I did like this wheelie over. You might have seen it on a KTM. There's like 10 or 12 logs in a row, like laid that way, and I'd like hop from one to the next on the back wheel the whole time. And that video went pretty viral. So I'm there thinking like, next race I'm fucking, this is easy, this not easy,
yeah.
but I'm like, proper thought I was the boy, like, finished 5th at Erzberg. This video has just popped off the day before the race, like, everyone's asking for pictures, everyone's like, this is it.
This is me sorting now.
Go and do my first actual proper day in the mountains at like a hard race, and I just fucking died. Second half of the first day, ended up crashing, fell off the side of the track, like was on like a dirt road in the side of a pretty steep hill. Hit this log just because I was riding. It wasn't even hard, the bit I actually crashed on, but I was so knackered, just riding like dead. Ended up off the side of this track, and then started this like rock avalanche and just slid for like 100 feet down this hill. Steep, like as steep as a hill I'd ever fucking seen in my life before. Thinking like, it's physically impossible to get back up to where the track goes. Like, I'll go down and see if I can find another, because it was kind of like a dirt road out, like a dirt track I was on. I'll go down and try and find another one and get back to some form of life or civilization. So followed this valley down to the bottom and arrived eventually after like fucking throwing the bike off a few more waterfalls and whatever else come my way. I just arrived at a lake and nothing else. I had to sit there for 6 hours until I got rescued.
Oh shit!
So that was my first day.
How do you get rescued on the
guy?
Yeah, you just don't turn up and they just go looking for you.
Well, you take your phone and you to navigate. You have 2 GPSs anyway to like know where the track goes. So
I was wondering that.
And on the Dakar bike, you have like a pin note. Like,
well, Dakar's they do it fully analog. Like they just get notes and they've got to have a button in it. It's like a scroll.
Yeah.
Whereas we have like 2 computers and it's like 2 little sat navs pretty much.
Right.
But you don't get anything else other than the racetrack.
Oh, so you don't know what's.
So you don't get like literally anything other than you get a line, which is what the racetrack is, and a triangle, which is what you are.
So you know if you're on it or off it.
Yeah.
So is one like to have a backup of the other? You know, these 2 sat navs.
You have one zoomed in and one zoomed out. So when you're going faster,
Right.
You know where you're at.
you go faster, you use this one that's further zoomed out because you can see it, like plan ahead a bit more.
How many times has that tripped you up? Because I'm not being funny. We all lose phone signal.
I'm shit at navigating. I'm terrible. That's why I've never won Romania, because I'm fucking shit at navigating.
No, but seriously, if that fails on you though, you know, how many times has the sat nav tripped you up?
Very rarely, to be honest.
Aye. But is everyone on the same sat nav, same system?
There's a whole load of different ones you can
that you're
use,
allowed.
Pretty much everybody uses the same one, which
you thought that would have to be like a standard. You know what I mean? Like
they give you in the regulations. It's like these are the models which the track's compatible. The track would be compatible on, and because you hand it in, like when you do the inscription or whatever, you give them your GPSs.
Right.
You then start at the first day, they hand them back to you, and it's like ready to go. End of the day one, they take them back, and like you get them pretty much as you start the race each day.
So you can't fiddle with it or camp with it. Or...
There's not really anything you could do to gain an advantage anyway, to be honest.
It's just direction, isn't it?
Because if you take a shortcut, we've got a tracker on the bike and on us anyway, so if your like race distance isn't
what it should be,
they then check your track, and then you'd get penalty if you didn't do enough of the distance, or if you're too far off the track anyway.
Is there waypoints to get to as well then?
Yeah, so then there's like 12, 13 checkpoints where you're like, it's like an easy up kind of, usually in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
where they like scan your transponder.
And then that's you off to the next bit.
So what happens, right? In theory, you flip it, you smash it into a tree, both your iPads go down, your GPS trackers. What happened? Like, what happens? You just shit out of luck, son. That's a mechanical failure, really.
There's some tape in like dangerous. Well, not really dangerous. They don't like making dangerous parts obvious. But like, there is some tape on the trees, and like, there's if you're more than 3 or 4 bikes back, there's usually a bit of a line to follow. Or like, you're just waiting till someone else catches you up and hope he knows where he's going.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Do you literally just wait for someone? That's funny.
Yeah.
Did Ed do it?
Yeah, Ed did.
Ed from
Bronze.
Kex.
Ed from Kex did bronze in 2018.
I was trying to think.
The year
I knew he did it,
was
but
really hard. Like, the year he did it, there was 2 nights, like overnight, like full bivouac style. Not like a bivouac where you camp in the fucking desert, but like, it was really hard the year he did it. The weather was shit. It was I think all classes.
and did he finish it?
He finished bronze, yeah.
I mean, that's some achievement.
But yeah,
because he doesn't. I mean, I know Ed can ride a bike, but he doesn't. He's not a full-time rider or anything like that. So it's some achievement.
But anyone, like, it's a mad race, to be honest. It is mad, but it is any class. I don't care what class you do to finish it, is pretty sick. And just the places you go to, and like the areas you're at on tops of these mountains and on the peaks and stuff.
It's like unreal. Yeah,
it's not right to be having a motorbike up here. Like, you're so high, it is pretty mad. So that, going back to it, my first year, like, I came from Esbjerg, was the boy, did the media day at Romaniacs, was also the boy, videos going viral, and then first proper day, I'm fucking stuck by a lake, wrapped in my emergency blanket for 6 hours until someone come in and helped us carry my bike across this off-camber back to the road, and then got back to the paddock at 10:30 at night. That was it.
Done.
No, well,
yeah, but
so you're allowed to DNF one day and continue, like, not, and just be at the back of the results. Quite often, that many people don't finish. You can still like not finish a day and end up in a reasonable result,
right?
Because it's pretty common. Or like, people will run out of time. Like, there'll be a time. Each checkpoint has a time bar where if you're not at by a certain time, you're not allowed to continue because you won't get back
outside the tolerance.
Because you won't get back before it gets dark. So I was like begging them, like, can I just miss? So I had DNF the first day, and I wanted to miss the second day and do the last 2 days just to get some experience or whatever. Because by the time I got back to the paddock, it's like 10:30, 11 at night.
So the next day we've been fucked anyway. Like,
so, and you have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to start riding at 6:30. So I begged them, I'm like, can I miss the second day? And they're like, nah. So then I was up at 4:30 the next day, like,
riding.
Did day 2.
So can you still classify then, even if you have a DNF?
So one day you can DNF, yeah, and you'd still be in the results. So you'd get like, I think I got like 21 hours of time penalties.
Right, okay.
But like, there's that many people that usually don't finish every day.
Yeah.
You could have like 20 hours added on and still be somewhere like, not the top result, but you could be probably in the 10 to 15 range.
Really?
Yeah, there's like so few people actually finish it without getting time barred or whatever. So
yeah, sure. Did
day 2, did day 3, just fucking thought this is the maddest thing ever. The hills are so long and so steep and so sketchy. And I think I was actually like, got back to around 15th, 16th, and then my bike blew up. I put a hole in my radiator and tried to keep going to the service point. My bike blew up like 5 kilometers from the service point on the last day, but it was like just the whole week for not having a clue what was going on and what I was doing. It was just the maddest learning experience.
But how old were you then? 18? 19?
18 still, I think, yeah.
18.
My birthday's August, and that's usually July time, so yeah, still 18.
So, when you're on the side, let's talk about you down by the lake. You've DNF'd, you've ballsed up. Were you thinking about your career at that point, or were you thinking
my fucking life? Bear was going to come and eat us. That's what I was worried. Generally, like, it's hard to explain, but until you're like that far in the middle of nowhere and that far in the mountains,
what if they just never find us?
Like, there's times you can ride. You'll be riding for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and you'll not see another human. Like, you'll not pass anybody. You'll not see anyone.
Yeah,
You're just going up hills like this, and then down the other side, like it's so steep. You'd be going down like downhills, more or less in a straight line, like engine off, just rolling, like 15-20 minutes in a straight line, just.
Right, so you're saying it took them 6 hours to get you. What do you have? Do you have like a survival pack? Like you had an emergency blanket?
Yeah, like a flare and stuff like that, which I never let off, which I wish I did just to let the flare off.
Was that pride though?
Well,
I'm not going to hide on
thinking back, I would actually quite like to have let it off and just watched it for a bit. But, well, luckily...
Is that new kid down there?
Luckily, which kind of made the whole thing 100 times better, was I had phone signal and reception. And I called like the team who were there helping us. I called the race organisers, and he's had all sorts of jobs, but at the time he was there working for the race as like a track manager. I called him, and he knew where I was because I was down by the lake, and I was directly opposite. There was like this big building. I don't know if it's a hotel or what, a restaurant or something. Like literally, it was wide. Like you wouldn't have swam across it. Put it that way. But I'm like directly opposite this building, so he knew where I was, and had, like I said,
he's in the restaurant.
He's fucking weird. But like I said, I had phone signal, and they knew where I was, so like I was gonna get rescued. But so he seen where the rock avalanche had pulled me down the hill from the track. So then he walked down, and at the same time, my dad, who was there helping, and Julian, who was there kind of mechanicking for us, they had my location too. They drove to the nearest road. So like he came from this angle, they came from that angle, I'm down here by the lake. And we kind of all met at the bike and carried the bike across this off-camber, which they'd walked to get to the nearest road. So like the three of we were like, it was that steep, and like bits of it were feeding, like the ground had to give way, you'd have just been off like a
fucking cliff, like
good few meter drop into the lake. It was like
sketchy,
arse twitchy, and like the three were like, like pushing the bike into the hill in places. Like it was dodgy, and walked the bike to the road, and got in the van and drove back to the...
So, no, but this is the thing I'm trying, like, I know that was a serious situation, but it's a bit like, you're 18 on the side of a cliff, your dad and your team have come and gone. What did your team say when they said, look, I'm lost? Like, they've just... Wait, hold on. Were you riding for KTM at this point?
No.
After your first...
No, like... So I started to get a little bit of support.
That was... I lost the timeline.
After Erzberg. But this is still full privateer, pretty much.
Got you. Yeah. All right, so that makes.
What was your old man like? Was he like thinking, "I've cut him out of motocross because it's dangerous"?
I'm not sure. Like now, I think back, like because he had obviously been there my whole career and done trials together. And then when I went to enduro, I didn't kind of go off by myself, but he was a lot less involved because I was, he didn't really know what to do, what the crack. Like he knew how to fix motorbikes and whatever, but he didn't at races. He didn't really. It definitely took more of a back role, but he came, and especially in the early days, to help, and because, like I say, it took till 10 o'clock every night to rebuild my bike. I was turning it back in such a bent up state or whatever. So, but thinking back, like it must have been mad for him. Like this is his first, because he actually didn't come to Erzberg that first year. Now I think about it, he wasn't at Erzberg, so this in Romania was pretty much his first race he'd come to, like international race. He'd came to some the British races and stuff, but this is the first actual international race. His first day, I'm ringing him saying, I'm stuck at the bottom of this lake.
Come and fetch us.
There's a cliff one way and there's a ravine the other way, like there's nowhere to go. Fucking must have been pretty mad for him as well.
Yeah.
Like, so I've never really thought about it until now, but yeah, I bet that was a baptism of fire for him.
Yeah, but I'm just like...
But it's pretty common, like, now at the race, there's like, I think 10 separate rescue teams for people collecting the bikes, and like, people leave the bikes where they are and just walk.
To get this, to
get to safety, and then they're like, team will go and rescue the bike the next day, or the next week, or whenever.
Yeah, whenever they can get to it,
whenever they can get to it. It's common for people to arrive and the bike be...
Like, how many 18-year-olds are doing it now? Romania. Let's talk about Romania. How many, like...
in the gold class, not that many. But like silver, bronze, there's like kids doing it on 85s.
Shut up, man.
Yeah. Usually with help, like someone chaperoning them or whatever. But
Aye. You would think, you know, when you're talking about like going down cliff edges and stuff, you'd think it'd be like, well, 18. It's like TD, for example, you have to be 18
Yeah. No,
to
I
do
mean,
the TD. You know, it's like, right, it's that risky.
The goal, I think it's definitely a different level, the gold class, in the situations you get in. But I also think for like a 12, 13-year-old that's out there for
riding
5,
through
6
Romania.
hours in the mountains, like, it's not. For a 12-year-old, it's 100% going to be, like, I would say, equivalently as intimidating, and like just to be doing it is pretty mad and pretty impressive. But yeah, I think the actual gold class, the situations you're in and where you're riding is pretty fucking mental. To be honest.
Is it got more mental, or is it getting more tame now?
That race is not getting any more tame. Like,
This is PTSD.
I'm trying.
He's like that
I'm
one.
also trying to be somewhat diplomatic.
Is there a frequent winner at Romania?
Yeah, Manny Lettenbichler wins the last. Didn't win last day because he got a time penalty in the first day, but he's won it 3 or 4 times now. And Jarvis has won it like 5 times. I've never won in Romania because I'm shit there.
And Jarvis is a local lad as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's ripping.
He's ripping, lad. So he's at like, but so what's it going to take for Billy Bolt to win Romania?
Yeah. I've got, to be honest, not like 4 or 5 years ago, after that first year, I'll never fucking go win this race. Like, because it's just so different. It's hard to describe, but like actual mountains and being in mountains is like, when you've never spent time in it, is just so fucking different. And takes so long to get your head around. And like, yeah, I said, even
it's like a quarry or something, isn't it?
It's just like long hill climbs and big rocks, pretty much.
Yeah.
So is it a case of just go out and train in Romania?
Yeah, no, well, that's why I spend a lot of time in Italy, like, these days, because the riding there is really good. Like, I've improved there a lot. This year, I hadn't rode for the 6 weeks before because I separated my shoulder. So I literally arrived without riding whatsoever.
A break or like a full dislocation?
My AC joint.
Did
grade 4 separation of my AC joint, so it was like pretty bad separated.
What's your range like now?
Fine. I didn't ride at all for the 6 weeks because I'd done it on the right side in my first year doing enduro because I used to fucking hit trees every other week. Literally, my shoulder was just hanging out constantly the first year I did enduro because I just was attracted to trees. So I knew how problematic it can be, like the AC joint can be. So there was 6 weeks from when I did it until Romania, and I was like, I'd rather not ride once but not have a problem, because I had like 18 months of problems with my right shoulder. So I spent there most of the time, literally like 4 weeks solid, 3 weeks in one go at the APC in Austria, and then did like 1 week off, and then another 2 weeks before the race there. So like it was like every day just doing shoulder stuff, and it was good. My shoulder was fine, but obviously I had no fitness whatsoever and just died. Like I was still third going into the last day, but I ended up fourth. I physically couldn't wake up on the last morning. Like alarm went off, barely opened my eyes. Like Roxy ran as a cold bath, fell asleep in a cold bath.
What?
Like dead.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning, sat in a cold bath, and I still couldn't keep my eyes open. And like getting changed and like literally putting my boots on, dozing, and like it was.
It's like dangerous.
And well, yeah, I was, but there was nothing. I didn't really, and I like, not saying I didn't believe I could stay in it, but I was pretty like in my head. I knew I was like, I'm not staying third today. Like if the gap to fourth was pretty, like to fifth was pretty big. So I was like,
you're gonna be somewhere near.
I was like, I accepted fourth, and I just want to leave and still be alive.
Yeah. So did you just not ride the last day?
No, so I did it, but I didn't like. I couldn't push. I just literally potted around. So that was this year, and then last year missed the race completely because I had wrist surgery, and then the year before. I forgot my injury, but I did something also. The year before I was quite confident. So 2021, I was actually quite confident going in, just because I'd spent a lot more time in mountains in Italy and stuff. And even now, like I'm confident I feel I can win these days with the right preparation.
What's your priority for the season? Like, what's your main focus? What do you need to win? I mean, you want to win everything. I know that, but
also, yeah, because like every race is so different. Like the preparation is so different for each race. Some of them are 2 hours long. Some of them are 5 days long. Some of them are mountains. Some of them are quarries.
And as a professional rider, you're obviously looking to win world championship because you're the world champion at the moment, aren't you? Hence being in the FIM.
Super Enduro, so the indoor racing.
Well, you are the champ though, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're champion. So would you sacrifice now? From when I'm looking in, they are such singular events in a roundabout way. Would you be willing to sacrifice a championship to win?
Well, Romaniacs is part of the World Championship.
I know, but I'm saying, if you could would you sacrifice all the other rounds to focus on your training just to go win that one event?
No, well,
I feel like we're Husqvarna here going on an interview for you. So what your
it's interesting to know what makes your season and
aye.
It's a hard question.
Go on, answer it. No one listens to this, Billy, man. Don't worry.
No,
Cameras aren't rolling.
I don't think I would. I think I'd still prefer to win a championship.
I'm thinking, let's talk about 8-year-old Billy. You know what I mean? Still the same moustache. Got Yorkshire Terrier. Got your own Instagram page. The dog's living the dream. You're sitting there going, you know what?
I wish I'd won an those back.
You know what I mean, though?
Romaniac, sorry.
Oh God, what is that regret?
But then you'd think I've got 8 world championships or 5 world championships.
It's how many you've got?
I've got 5 now.
Well, right, but no Romaniacs. I'm here. We're putting salt in the wound here, so let's just.
I've got plenty of time as well.
You've got loads of time. You've got loads and loads.
Yeah, because it's as a race, it's actually like my least favorite of them all. Like
because it's just so brutal.
But I also I want to do well at it. And I haven't even been on the podium, like I said. I've had a lot of shit goes at it, and I haven't showed how much improvement I've actually made in that terrain in that scenario. I know the effort I've put in and the improvements I've made from 2017, 2018, as factory Husqvarna, as world champion 2018. But if you'd have said you ever going to win Romaniacs, and I would have said no, I can't ride mountains.
Yeah.
But as now I'm
I've got a good
put
shot.
The time in and I know what I need and how I need to set my bike up and what needs to be there. But just the last few attempts I've had not a lot of things go my way. So it's annoying. It's annoying that I've got to wait 12 months to have another go as well.
What about
do you know? But if you had 3 cracks a year at Romaniacs, would it take away the magic for you?
It's hard because
trying to do it 3 times a year is probably
no.
Honestly,
you know what I'm saying, though?
Call it magic. It's
torture,
a race doesn't. I don't like. I mean, I do like it. That's not the right way to put it. I don't want to sound like I'm not trying to say it's shit or anything like that, but I don't know. It's just I more want to just get the result and show.
What you
prove to myself what I've done there, rather than the actual race. It could be any race, but in it just them conditions and them circumstances. That's kind of more what I care about. So probably I don't really care about the magic of it. To be honest, I'd rather just win it.
No, but for me,
races, I would. Yeah, that'd be fine. As I've got 3 chances to actually do it, but I don't know.
What about a Dakar? You ever fancy doing a Dakar?
No, that was going to be my main question.
I would definitely think about it. I'd like to have a go at some point with a road book and navigating. I'd definitely be shit to start off with, 100%. But just to understand whether it's something that I feel like I could get my head around.
Yeah, and is it the navigating that is?
Well, yeah, because
the big
I
thing.
think you win it with navigating.
Yeah.
You can't win unless you navigate. And
probably. Yeah.
The speeds are so fast now. You've got to be just
on it,
willing to put yourself like really out there to be up there. And like I said, there's no point doing that if you're gonna get lost and then lose 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So I would like to have a good test at the navigation side and the roadbook side and see if it was something I felt like was worth doing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because how long have you been part of the Red Bull family now? You were with another brand, but we're not going to say that brand, you know what I mean? But
yeah, well, I was never actually personally with the other brand anyway. It was always a team sponsor.
But you are part of the Red Bull family
now. Yeah, I have a personal Red Bull deal. So 2 years, almost 2 years. Be 2 years in March, February.
Bloody hell, it must have been long since like when we did the episode with Chrissy. You must have just signed the Red Bull deal there.
No, that was 2021, right?
Would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Back of me notes here.
Early 2021 was it? Was that like January time?
It would have been, I didn't get that far in my notes, to be honest. See, I wouldn't be a good navigator and all.
So yeah, and it was February, March 2022.
So you've joined the Red Bull family now. Was Sam Sunderland part of Red Bull as well?
Yeah.
So, you know when you think about the Red Bull...
He also lives in Andorra.
Tax dodging here, and they are. So no, it's my like the thing is, Billy. I don't like from what you see of what you are capable on a motorcycle. I'm not just like yet again. I will put you in the same level. Another Red Bull athlete, top rack. You know what you two can do on motorcycles, and like my main question. I must have asked you this on both episodes that we've had you on. I'm going to ask it again. Is riding a bike easy for you? Because it is amazing. You're falling asleep in cold baths and you're talking about the physical endurance. The physical endurance element of it. But is the riding... I can't...
You do make effortless.
It looks like a piece of piss.
I don't know if I'd say it's easy, but it's just what I enjoy doing. Like, I wouldn't say easy. I mean, it depends. Riding a bike, what do you want us to do? Go and ride up and down the road or ride in a straight line? Like, yeah, that's
easy.
Yeah.
That's also because I've done it since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And like pretty
it's like
religiously since I was that's pretty much all I've ever wanted to do.
See, like Josh's race bikes, like our race bikes, but me, I tell you what, I want to buy a motocross bike to learn the wheelie. You know how you can just, mate, it's nuts, man. Like, put me on a super bike, you know what I mean? It's just power, you get the thumb brake, and like the job's to try and keep the front wheel on the ground. I can race a bike, I know what I'm doing within me skill set. But I guarantee if you jumped on my BM super bike, you could wheelie it for miles, but I can't wheelie a bike to save my life. But leading into that, and your great question about the Dakar, would you feel like that would take the navigation element of it?
Yeah, I mean, the riding part, I think I could be
I don't think it would be an issue for you at all.
I think I could be good enough for sure. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like, I don't want to, it's not easy by any means, but I do feel like the riding part of it I could learn for sure. But
it's like Western Beach Race on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know how much comparisons you could actually draw to Western, but I do enjoy Western Beach Race, so...
Because you won it the first time you were there, but...
No, third.
Still a podium your first time. You can't knock that.
Yeah.
But going back to Josh's main question, is that... I know you're saying about the navigation, but is this something seriously that you, Husqvarna, Red Bull, want to navigate?
I have spoke a little bit with Husqvarna about it, but it's not right now. Like I say, I've got other races that I want to win.
Which are? Give us a short list. Come on, give us a short list.
Erzberg for sure. Erzberg with me. Pretty much Erzberg with Mania, to be honest. The rest, obviously, any race I want to win, but they're like the two. And it's kind of changing a little bit, our sport, I feel like.
Right.
In terms of, well, it's not changing, but things try to grow and they're like trying to, I don't know how much, I feel like other races are starting to get on a similar like status level, if you know what I mean. But to me, like them two are like the OG races that like has built the sport to what it is today. So like regardless as to whether another race becomes the hardest or becomes the most famous or whatever, like they're the two which I grew up watching and I grew up, wanting to do and wanting to be a part of. So until I've done them two, I probably won't be that satisfied.
Do you get some pressure from from Husqvarna? Do they want to win a particular, like, does it, obviously it matters to them, but
Yeah.
does one, I mean, I know they do, like KTM do a Herzberg, whatever you said, model, don't they? The special edition bike and stuff like that. Like, is there a bit of pressure from that
I
then?
mean, probably like they want to win kind of everything, but there's no more specific pressure in any race. That I feel anyway, and like I think don't matter what pressure they would put on that, I'm putting more on myself.
You would be doing it anyway. Like, yeah.
So from that side, I don't really feel anything from them at all.
Would you say you're like a wound up rider? You know when you pull up at the gate? No. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd say no, but I think everyone else would say yes.
No. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want a 7-foot Billy Bolt running next to me, like trying to kick me out the way of a bike.
I get a bit worked up. I've punched a few trees in my time and stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
I tell you what, the one video I'll never forget.
Dom's punched a few trees as well.
I've got to do that for a living though, son. That's a difference. There you go. But I tell you what, I'll never forget. Like, and I can't believe how dangerous this video was. But the bloke who gave you a water bottle, the Petrol, I thought, mate, and like, you know, like, you can imagine, you know, you've got the wet wipes of the world, the snowflakes, saying, "Can't believe you reacted like that." And you're thinking, he literally handed him a bottle, right, a water bottle, right, of petrol.
But it was an accident. I actually know who he is. He's a nice lad.
How is that an accident?
Because
It's like
he got sent in a backpack. The story is logical.
Can you talk through your reaction, though? Because I'll tell you what.
I'm not seeing that. I'm going to
I tell you what, Billy.
I wasn't the happiest.
No, you wouldn't, mate. How do you control it?
This is mid-race.
Mid-Esberg, just after me and Manny had helped each other up this hill, we're leading the race 3/4 of the way through. And we're just this hill which was near on impossible, so we just pulled each other up, and I'm like at the top, like getting my breath back, and like a full 2-litre bottle, which I'm just like opened my mouth, but just kind of chucked at my face,
like gulping it, mate. You gotta go. I don't care what video
of petrol.
Yeah.
Billy Bolt swallows everyone. He literally got a right swallow in there, like, you know, like the fire dancers.
And then he got it pretty hard, bless him.
Mate,
Yeah, but that right.
How you didn't?
He'd bloody kill you. That's why. I mean, I think that's justifiable.
How he didn't swing for him is beyond my mind. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe.
Did they keep would they keep a water bottle of petrol so that you can have a quick?
Yeah, well, you're not meant to have petrol, but the story
Highland Spring on it.
does make sense. Well, he didn't know. He got sent into the bag to get the bottle of water, and he just picked the first one that he's come up with. Like, if you'd have probably looked at the colour or seen, you could have probably seen distinguishable differences. But at the same time, it's the middle of the race.
He's for the
flat out, yeah, pressure.
I can 100% like see his point of view. Like, I was most at the time when I drank it, and I think I shouted at him and called him a C word and a stupid C word.
I don't blame you. Did you not get blisters in your mouth and that?
I get proper bad indigestion anyway, so just added to that. Like, I set off on the start line with a Gaviscon underneath my bar pads.
Actually,
Yeah, ready for fucking mid-race heartburn.
Shut up, man.
Everyone else has got an energy gel on the handlebars, and I've got 2 Gaviscons.
Class. I love it.
I hope people listen to this vlog on the start line and just go, it's not
You'll
lying.
see it. There's most races that's either down my boot or on somewhere on my handlebars. There's a little sachet of Gaviscon ready.
Oh, classic. But right, you complete these 2 races, you win them. What else is on the bucket list? Because
that changes so much also all the time. Like,
of course it does. But
one day I wake up, I'm like, fuck racing. I'm just trying to go make videos.
Is that what you go through sometimes?
Yeah, well, I think I've been through that since I was about 12.
Yeah,
and then the next day I wake up and I'd be like, nah, I'm all in. Want to race, want to win. Well, I don't mean like fuck racing. I never get to the point where like I actually do that, but it does enter my head a lot. But then I always, I haven't done it yet. Put it that way. That's how like I do have thoughts of that, and like it'd be cool to just focus on some cool projects and do that side of stuff. But then,
what would them projects be for Billy Bob?
I'm not going to give it all away now, of course.
It's vlog material. I suppose you can document your life. That's the difference.
I can't give any of that away.
But
also, I struggle to make decisions, so to actually pick something would be quite hard. But I don't really know. Like, I just want to ride my bike and have fun more than anything. Like,
That reminds me, by the way, that you owe me £100. You know that, don't you? You robbed my dream. Because the last time we sat opposite each other, we were going to have a speedway race.
Well, I went and did it and you didn't turn up?
No, bollocks to it. We were supposed to wait. Aye, but because you had a flat track bike and I work for a living, we were supposed to organise this flat out £100 bet. Who was going to do it first? And then there's him. He's been out in Spain. He's been out actually on a speedway bike. You owe me £100 by default. I'm telling you. Fuck that. You owe me £100, son.
I've only ever done that day on a speedway bike, and it was on a pretty small track anyway.
I done. You went. Because it was Paul Wheatley, you and Chrissy. You went up there. But anyway, cheating's cheating, son. You can't just justify your way out of this. You owe me £100.
All right.
Well, we need to get on the speedway bikes. And
get a rematch on, yeah.
I think it should still be on the proper track. Well, I've been meaning to do it for years. Every time I go and see one of the speedway rides, like, when you come to ride my bike, and I'm just like, I'd love to, just no idea when. But
yeah,
it's hard. There's not enough hours in the day, not enough days in the week to actually do much. And like, that's the problem as well. Like, I could probably do more stuff, but it's also like I subconsciously I can never switch off that like I want to actually race. And like, I know to a lot of people they might think I fuck around a lot or I don't train enough or whatever. Like, I think specifically, or like they might not think I'm focused enough on one thing, but I know in the back of my mind like how much of something I need to do to be ready, or like there's a certain limit which I won't let myself like fall below, or like which like there's things in a week, or I've got to feel like I've done a certain amount where before I'm happy, and then I'll go and do other stuff. I'll go and ride flat track, I'll go and ride motocross, I'll go and ride mountain bikes. But there's always like, without even thinking about it, I know if I'm doing that, I've done enough of what I need to do to be confident in myself and stuff like that.
I think in your discipline though, you couldn't hide away from that anyway, could you? Because it would show massively, wouldn't it, if you weren't training?
Yeah, but yes, definitely. But also on the other side of that, because the discipline is so vast and so many different things going on, and there's so many different discipline or elements to it.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm a bit lucky in a sense that I can kind of do anything, especially on the bike wise, and I think it is relevant. You know, it's not like a motocross rider that knows they need to go 35 minutes plus a lap. And that's all they have to train. A lot more specifically. Whereas I can kind of be a bit more relaxed and get away with it, because there's this, you know, like one race is 2 hours, next race is 5 days. One race is in rocks, one race is in only streams, one race is on a beach, one race is fast, one race is slow. Like, I feel quite lucky in a sense that a lot of things are actually useful training. But like you say, you know, you're not going to be... And I'm usually finish most races pretty strongly as well. Like, I'm not saying I'm the fittest rider, but like
in a good position.
In most races, like I come on strong at the end, or in the later parts of just about, you know, any race. I think like my engine is good enough.
Yeah, strong, like,
where it needs to be.
Is the sport growing, and is the sport getting more competitive?
Indoors and like Super Enduro, it's definitely growing, and I think it's in a very healthy position. But outdoors, that's actually not the best way to put it, because outdoors is also growing, but I think I don't want to like go too in depth, because most of your listeners probably don't care about the politics of hard enduro, but like there's a lot of like important decisions that I think need to be made very soon for hard enduro, because I think in some ways it is growing, but in a lot of ways it's actually not. It's probably going the opposite direction, and I think...
Is that a health and safety element?
No, like just in terms of races and structure and...
I think that's complacency, like, from them.
I think that organisers, like the promoters and stuff like that, and race organisers, they don't really... Well, they definitely don't see eye to eye all the time.
Right.
And now that we have like a promoter and a championship, they're trying to like make a lot of rules standardised and stuff, which I 100% agree with. But when you go into races that are so different,
you can't
have one set of rules, it just makes so many more unnecessary question marks. and like this like nitty shitty stuff that gets picked up on it. Like the race organisers, a lot of the time, especially at the big races, they don't really care that there's a world championship going on because they've got 700 hobby riders turning up, paying their money. Their race has been going for 20 years. Like the championship is still pretty new. I think it's only been going since 2021. Like the Hard Enduro World Championship. Like the races have been around, but as an FIM World Championship, it's in its early stages.
It's a new thing,
and a lot of the race organisers, in my opinion, aren't helpful enough to the promoters of the championship. Which to me is frustrating because, and I'm looking at it from like an elite rider's perspective, and I want money and sponsors and TV time, and I want that to come into the sport. But the way it is with a lot of the old goings on and how a lot of the things and a lot of the structures are in place, it's not kind of allowing it to grow in the way which
get that,
the riders want, and like we're as a whole, and we're pretty much all together the riders in what we want, which is good, and like we do speak quite regularly, and like we're pushing for quite a lot of changes, put it that way. So like I think it is growing, and from a hobby and numbers and that side of things, like I think it's in this probably healthiest position ever. But rider happiness and stuff like that, I think it's kind of heading in the wrong direction. But I think some important decisions are needed to be made in the next few months, I would say.
These are probably the only discipline that you can have people essentially competing in a world championship and then have like hobby riders going to the same events.
That's the bewildering element of it, isn't it?
It is, and I 100% get that. That's where the sports come from, and that's what was always so cool. But
it will be a limiting factor.
In my opinion, for a real like world championship level sport, because we do have a few races which are in like a shorter format, closed circuit, like a multi-lap style race, still in hard enduro, but that way you can, even Erzberg is like a 4-hour race, but you can just show start to finish live. You can spectators can pay a ticket to come in, like it just, that style of things is so much more appealing as a sport at the elite level. But I get, your average hobby rider that buys his bike, turns up at a race, they don't want to go and race around a 10-minute lap for 2 hours. They want to go and ride for 30 hours in the mountains. So like it is cool 100% that to this point it's all been together, but I think
there needs to be segregation between the championships.
It's not feasible. Like this doesn't happen in any other sport, and that's just because it can't. Do you know what I mean?
No, it does. Imagine going to like a MotoGP and then
there being a track day going on at the
same time.
That's literally what
it's never going to operate at the same level, is it?
It would be sick if it was, and like, I'm sure the fellas that are on the track day would be having a good time, but I'm also sure that our Marquez wouldn't be that happy when he's
no. Well, I tell you what, there was, again, funny enough, I know I mentioned before, but Top Rack was at a no limits track day. And you just like, what the fuck? You're thinking these lads are going, right, I'm an outbreaking god here, and then Top Rack comes in from 1,000 yards and like,
was he on a superbike or was he on a...
It was on the BM. It was like his first ride on the BM, and he's on a no limits track day, and was it Portimao, and you're just thinking, imagine, like, but that's exactly the example that you're talking about.
But, and it's practice as well. That's not like that. In our sport, that's happening at a world championship. That's like a track day going on at a world superbike race. Fair enough, at a track day, like I think it's sick, but I can understand why, like, it's not that common. But at the same time, I don't have a problem with that. Like, if he wants to turn up on the track day and have a skid, I think that's pretty cool that he would even do that, because I think in that world, in his world, not many riders would want to do it. But at a race weekend,
it's just such a limiting factor, isn't it? It's not gonna betray, exactly like you say, the event at a world championship level. The event needs to be more than just about
participation.
Yeah.
And it's shit. I agree that people might not agree with me saying that, but I think any rider that's at a high level in that position will be able to agree with that. Any hobby rider is probably going to say, fuck him, like, he only thinks about himself and wanting the sport. Like,
but it's about elevating the sport.
Yeah.
But how many how many Billy Bolts are there? I know there's only one, but I mean, at elite level, how many are there?
What do you mean?
10,
Riders?
15 riders?
Yeah,
How many people are competing for top 15? You know what I mean? Every weekend.
I think enough to justify doing it. You'd have 10 to 15 pro riders. We have probably the best part of 10 riders in the junior championship now also.
So there are people stepping up.
It's enough, and I do think it will head in that direction. I think it's just for the immediate future. It's going to take a while to really get people.
Well, for a quick fix now, is that a case of a different track or a different time on that track?
It's a bit of a difficult question.
It is a very difficult question, but you're talking about separate. No, we're talking about the track day example is perfect. You know what I mean? So you can have like a MotoGP
Sounds
weekend
it's like a combination,
you know what I mean?
though, isn't it?
I think it is both. That's true. It is both, and like I'm only looking at it from a rider's point of view too. But to be honest, we're all in agreement. Like we have like a group chat between like the top 10 of the World Championship and stuff, and like we're all in agreement that stuff needs to change, and like we've put our points forward and stuff like that, and we're all pretty adamant we want to see change.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. I'm not doing. It's not like we're getting all starting a revolution or something like that. But like the riders aren't really happy with things at the minute. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to like start calling out what's wrong and like telling people.
No.
Seeing what deals haven't been done that should have been done, but there's like I think quite a few things that aren't right at the minute, so hopefully things improve for the better.
But things need to evolve and things need to change in order to evolve, don't they? It is that simple. Things need to change.
Yeah, and that's like that's outdoors for hard enduro, by the way. I think Super Enduro, which is like indoors, which is what's happening now, that's in a pretty strong position. I think that could also it's at a really healthy level, but that could grow really well over the next few years, just because the support the races get and the coverage, the people supporting us and engagement wise and stuff like that. Like people are really involved and want to see that championship, and the racing's sick. Like I'll watch the junior classes back from last weekend, and like the battles in that race are sick. The hobby, they have like an open class, which it just produces that format and that style of track in a stadium, just produces such good racing, guaranteed. Like it's a
spectacle as well, isn't it? You can see it.
It just makes so much sense, and I think everyone's pretty happy with where that's at. So there's a round of that in Newcastle next year.
Is there?
Last round in March next year.
Oh no! Wait, what at the
arena?
That'd be cool.
When's that? Is that fresh news? It's
been out for a few weeks. Well, a while actually. But
can you get those tickets?
Second of all, I can sort a few tickets out.
Good lad, chuck in there.
I'm sure I can sort a few out. But for any local, anyone, I guess you travel to.
That's really cool. Like because we don't have anything like that here, do we?
Next year in the UK. Your road race viewers are probably going to be switched off board, sick of death by now. There's a Super Enduro World Championship round, there's a Hard Enduro World Championship round, and there's an Enduro GP, which is like the classic Enduro time card World Championship, let's say, all in the UK next year.
Right.
Oh, that's very good.
So, pretty exciting times for UK and off-road racing.
How much, now, you be like, how many, yet again, I'm going to call them all Billy Bolts, but that elite, that elite 10, how many of them are British?
Actually, less now than they used to be. There's two young junior riders that are British, so first and third of the junior championship of this year were two brothers from the UK.
Yep.
So they're hot prospects.
Myself.
Good. Jarvis is 300 years old, but he's still kicking around in the top 10. So him. But no, there's Johnny Walker doesn't race the full. He races the indoor championship.
Right.
He was second in the indoor championship behind me last year, and also at the first round last weekend.
So that's 5.
But he doesn't do hard enduro anymore. He only does super enduro.
Right.
I don't want to forget anyone.
Oh no, but like
But if I've left someone out, there's probably someone obvious that's just fucking sat there punching the radio now. Like, where the fuck's my mention?
You'll make it up to him. But like my point is, it's like you're talking. There's a lot of you in like on the British element, and it's mad to think it's only just coming in.
It's actually quite
coming into Britain now. Really, on that
from
side
like a bike racing perspective, like it's quite accessible thing to do in England.
It's a snowflake generation. We can't do anything without getting told off. Never mind enduro.
No, but what I mean, like you could go and an enduro tomorrow if you've got a bike.
It's harder, I think, than it used to be in terms of just land and access. But like it's still, I think, a lot easier. I mean, it's not cheap by any means, but like compared to going road racing, for example, it's a lot more accessible. And at a hobby level, it's definitely like doing really well in the UK. Like,
it's a lot popular in the
events, and it just covers such a broad age range, I think, which is one of the key parts. I guess anything does in a way, but like it's not that often, I don't feel like, where you'll get 18-year-old and a 50-year-old that can be really competitive. You know what I mean? Like
I know
it's pretty cool. Like that literally happens all the time, just because there's so many elements that make up it. Such like a diverse thing. Like one rider might be super technical but really slow on all the flat parts of the track. You might get someone coming from motocross that's the complete opposite. That can
there's
go
a balance
3 seconds faster around every corner, but as soon as he comes to a log,
he's like
he's stationary and not going anywhere. So it's
like an ageless sport in a way.
It is really, and like Graham shows that he's
300.
I'm not going to guess what it is because I don't want to get it wrong, but he's pretty fucking old. And he's still competitive. He was still, I think.
When you say old, do you mean like 40s, 50s?
I think he's 48 or 49.
Oh, really?
God, lad.
And he's fifth or sixth in the championship this year, in the World Championship.
Wait, in lockdown, he was riding through his shed, man. Those videos were class, man. They were outstanding. He was literally just riding up his shed and the back wheel was dropping through, and it was just like total carnage. All his neighbours looking out the window going, what the fuck am I looking at here?
He's losing his marbles a bit, bless him.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. But I tell you what, you're talking about like younger people, like, and you've got the young prospects coming through the sport. But the one thing I would like to really go back to, and we spoke about it briefly at the beginning of the interview, was your input into your vlogs and how you started off as a racer and then you started into the vlog world, and then you saw that as an avenue. You know, you saw that, you were watching that even before you got into it yourself. But you and like Deegan, to be blunt, have set a bar now for younger riders, and it's almost to the category. It's like, look what Chrissy started, you know, with Chasin the Racin.
Well, we started a podcast after coming on your podcast.
I know, mate, you even announced it too.
Well,
for
it's
once,
true.
so.
I'm not gonna fucking lie about it. Like, I came and sat in the studio and left thinking that was fucking sick. Like, thoroughly enjoyed it.
We've
Headphones
gone down.
on, microphone. Like, then I thought the amount of times where I just sat around in the garage at Ed's house just talking pure shit. I said, that's just a no-brainer. So then I literally phoned them up the next day. I said, we need to start a podcast. And both the pair of them just went, no, shit.
I could literally imagine.
They're like, nah, waste of time. And I'm telling you, like, it was sick. I said, I don't even care if nobody watches it. I
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed doing it. So then I ordered the kit myself anyway. And it turned up and I was like, said, Dad, I'll figure out how to work that because I haven't got time. And then it went from there. But it was like, I admit, 100% from going on your podcast that I was started, and like we're neither of us is just in one place for long enough to really do it the justice it deserves. But when we do it, it's just for a laugh. It's fun. That's kind of another thing. Like, it's just there in the background. It's not my priority. It's not Tom's priority. It's definitely not Ed's priority. But if it's
good,
growing in the background, it helps. You know, if the few that we do sells a few more underpants for Ed. That's a good thing. If we get a few more followers or subscribers from it, that's a good thing. Like, I think, we don't stress about it, but it's good crack.
I tell you what, one of the coolest things Ed sponsors, you know, like in British, you've got the Kex hole shot.
All right,
And,
okay.
mate, and it just makes me laugh that the person who gets the whole shot in every race gets a pair of underwear, and you think that's just motocross through and through. That it's just like, if you shit yourself enough, son, you'll go through a pair of boxes, off you go. But even going back to it, it's like you, Deegan, Chrissy, starting up, the podcast and everything. It's about, you can't just be a rider anymore. Do you agree with that statement?
I think some people can. I think people obviously definitely. I mean, you've got to be fucking good one if that's all you're going to be. Like,
Yeah.
But
like in some people, I think it suits to do that. Like Tomac, for example, or like the kind of very not of that personal kind of interaction from on his socials and stuff. He'll post like a video with not much of a caption like every few months or whatever, but then he still comes out there and goes fast.
yeah.
To me, it's like not natural to be like that. I think it is definitely a fine line, because I also think and see a lot of people doing stuff because they think that's what they need to do,
Yeah.
and to me, you can see straight through that as well.
Aye.
And like, I think if you do something, it's because you want to do it. Like, I agree, everyone, or like, you can definitely help yourself off the bike.
Yeah, sure.
If you want, but you've got to want to do it, I think.
If you didn't want to make YouTube videos, your YouTube videos wouldn't be any good, would they?
And you would see that. I didn't
'Cause
want
the
to do
effort.
this. And like, even to the point where like, I do the large majority of mine myself, like probably 90% these days. If I've filmed like too many, I've got a backlog of 3 to edit, or I'll send one to Ed and say, please do these ones.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. But like 90%, or if we're at his house and he's filmed it all or whatever, he'll edit it because he's done it all.
Yeah.
But like I said, 90% of them, especially like race ones or whatever, I'll film, I'll edit, I'll do it all myself. And like,
Yeah.
I think, and that people see that, well, not everyone, because some people don't realise that, but I think whether people realise that or not, you get that feeling from it, like it's mine and I'm proud of it, and like everything I do to it is how I want it to be.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you also see a lot of people that's like, oh, I need to do vlogs, but then they get someone to come and film them and edit them, and there's just zero personality linked to it. Which I might look at things too much because I'm pretty anal with a lot of things, so I look into it too much, and to the general population they might have no idea, but to me I can see like straight through stuff like that, and I think whatever you do, you have to want to be doing it, and like it's got to be personal and have some meaning behind it to you. I think it doesn't have to be, but if that's the reason you're doing it, I think it shows so much more. And at the end of the day, like, I think I don't care. I mean, obviously I want to grow and want views, but I would make videos because I enjoy doing it. If 10,000 people watch them, or if 80,000 people watch them, 100,000 people,
It wouldn't bother you, like, yeah.
Like, I enjoy, in some of them, to me, some of the ones that I put the most time in are like the least viewed videos, and like you get a bit bummed out about it. I'm like, well, that was a fucking waste of time. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I enjoy doing it. Like, I'll just randomly I'll put an old one on from like 2 years ago, and I'll just sit and watch my own videos, which maybe that's really sad, but I sit back and watch them, and that was like my one thing from the start when I did them, because everyone's like, I could never do that. I hate the sound of my own voice. I could never watch myself. So like my one thing I had in mind from the start was like, if these came on in a room I was in, or a restaurant, like a cafe I was in or whatever, I'd want to be happy to sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the one thing I had in the back of my mind from the start, which I think,
that's a good way of looking at it.
And I honestly, like I said, I generally do just sit down and watch old ones from like last year or 6 months ago, and quite enjoy them.
The thing is, it's like people just see, I just watched one the other night and it was like 15 minutes, but you're thinking, you've travelled halfway across the world, you know what I mean? All that footage, all that time, people don't see the hard work, and it's like, it's nice. Do you get nervous about them at all?
No, not really. What do you mean nervous?
No, I've probably relayed the wrong question.
To film it or to put it out there?
Bit of both, really.
No, like... I don't think so.
Because when I'm using this as an example, it's like, you know, we've set this up. I couldn't. Now the reason we're doing this at my place is I couldn't get the Chrissy's studio out. So where we store it, it's like it's up a steep hill and it's like covered in ice. I couldn't get it out. I'm thinking, oh shit, what we're gonna do? So met Grace and me and Lauren and like we've just got this all doing, and you're sitting down and like you almost forget. I've met you twice before, and even I shit myself. We've done me and Chrissy like. And Josh and
I met you at a motocross race in Scotland as well when you were ripping around that.
God, but you see that I'm useless at that. My God, I'm absolutely. I love motocross, but I'm shit at it, and that's probably why I do.
Loose is the word I would use.
Horrendously loose. I went to that indoor supercross track.
Fucking hell, I'd like to see you.
Mate, I was.
I've got the videos.
No, Christian didn't write. So have you been out on a track with Christian Lydon?
I've not actually even never met Christian Lydon, to be fair, but I know he likes doing a bit of everything. He's really good at everything.
He can pedal across it like he really.
I have heard from quite a few people that, to be fair.
But he's come from Supermoto, hasn't he? He was just British champion and stuff.
But even so, like that competitive streak did not leave me. I went, I'm not letting Christian leave, even though he can actually ride one. Mate, I just hit them whoops like going, well, just hold it, just like bouncing off the pegs, not gripping the tank at all, absolutely all over the place.
That was a funny night.
That was actually really good crack. That, but like when we're coming to do these, it's like I still get like I want to get it right, and like I do get nervous about it, and it's mental.
Get the guest part of it, and mine, most of it, I'm in control of the whole thing as well. I think.
Yeah.
That maybe.
I think what you were saying about the fact that you. The way you view the content is that it's what you want to do and what you want to be out there.
And
so
it's literally.
There's nothing to be worried about in that sense,
It's pretty much what's happening anyway. Like whether I was filming it or not, the very, very large majority of it is what's happening. Like the conversations are what's being had. Like the action. Yeah, a few things you might lodge a little bit like for the camera, or that was funny. Say that again. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Which I'm not gonna like. I think that's all part of it, but the large majority of it is just what's happening.
It's refreshing to hear that, because sometimes you think, oh, I wish I filmed that, or oh, I should have done this, or I should have. But then sometimes you're just like, do you ever just turn up and go, I just want to enjoy my day with my mates?
I do that.
You know what I mean?
I do that, and like that's why the last 2 weeks I haven't filmed the video. It's like I've been so busy. The last week's been pretty sick, to be honest. Like it's been busy and a lot of talking, standing around, but like to get invited on stuff like that, like World Champions Day at KTM.
Yeah, you want to enjoy it.
FIM Gala, shit like that. Like, I thought, I'm that busy, that much going on. I'm also thinking I'm in the middle of the season. I had a race last weekend. I've got a race next weekend. Like this, my headspace, I don't have enough to then. I've probably got enough to film a video, but like to then edit it and know I'm going to put enough time in to edit it to a standard that I'd want it to be.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I could film it and give it to someone else to edit, but then. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to do, and it's if maybe I had, I don't know, a deal with somebody that required I do X amount of videos, blah blah blah. Then there would be pressure, and then
would you want to do that?
Well, at this point in my life, no, because it's not my priority. Like I want to race, and I want to do what I need to do to be ready to race. So like that's why I said earlier I can switch it on and off pretty well. But there's also a lot of times when I'm like, fuck, I wish I'd vlogged today, or like I'll think this is going to be shit, so I'll not bother.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the day I'm like, this would have been actually quite good. But
it is like obviously you've done one for the Chasin the Racin. Joe's done a couple. No, you've done quite a few actually.
I've actually watched a few of yours.
Hold on, he's a good question.
I watch everything.
Am I full of shit then?
What do you mean?
Well, you know how you were saying you watch them and you can tear them apart and go, they're a bit false or not. Am I in the false category?
Definitely not in the false category. I feel like you're a bit like you don't know what you think people will want to see.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that.
That's the opinion I get from watching yours, but that's not a bad thing either. Like it's, I think it almost, the fact that comes across as showing like a rawness and like a authenticity of it. Like,
which is
I wouldn't expect a vlog from you to be like cinematically perfect or like filmed well or like. I wouldn't expect that.
I know.
So like, I'm happy, and that's one thing I've learned, which is a bit annoying because I like geeking out a little bit and learning camera shit, editing shit. But like, a motorcycling audience doesn't care.
No, they just want to see the crack. Yeah.
Doesn't care, and like I love spending far too long on stupid, meaningless shit.
It's class,
but
it is.
I'll sit back and watch it, and it took us 3 hours, and it'll be like
you'd forget
sorry for like my Lauren's never like she's a Northern Irish road race fan through and through. Not like watch motocross, no nothing, right? Sat her down, watched that, and within 5 minutes you're going, shouldn't have eaten that egg, and you burped down camera. She was burst out laughing, and she's like a fan of yours from burping down a camera like about an egg.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. And I'm like, I look at yours and I go, fuck her. And then I put a camera in front of my face and I can't. I'm definitely not Billy, but I hate doing that. Yeah. But I like interviewing people. I like this is
every time I've got to do one for Grace, I've promised her when I've been on a couple of test days and stuff like that, and I'll record leaving the house, and then I get to the track, and then I fucking never pick the camera up again.
I did that a lot at the start though, like
your Roxy does a good job, mate.
Yeah, she's so useful. Like, I can't think of the right word, but like she helps a lot, and like, but she also just understands me so well in terms of like, as a rider, when I'm videoing, because I do get pretty irate quite easily and throw a fucking tantrum in.
You're there to win.
I'm quite stubborn, but even filming a video, like if someone's making noise in the background, I'm seeing something important, or like the lights. I try not to like get angry at her filming, but there's been times when I've definitely upset her because I've not been happy with what she's produced.
That is class.
But to be fair, but she's also like learned quite a lot, and like I say, it just takes fine tuning. Like now, the way we do things and stuff, she knows most of the time like what I want, what I'm thinking, what I want to get done out of it, and like, but going back to what you said, Josh, before I actually started, I probably had 3 or 4 attempts like within the 2 years prior, thinking I'm gonna do a vlog from today, but like it is generally fucking terrifying at the beginning.
First,
I'm like lodging it saying I don't get nervous or whatever, but if I actually think back, that's fucking shit. And then like I used to be like to hold a camera like in the airport or somewhere like that. Is weird, and when you first start doing it, like it is actually pretty awkward. So was to say that now I don't really get nervous in video ever, but when I think back, the first part of it, I definitely was shitting myself way more than I was letting on, to be fair.
But you see, like you've got a very good hold of like how you're managing yourself for that, like I'm not saying the word, like your mental health element to it is very, very strong. It's like, if I want to do it, I will not. You're not getting pressure from Red Bull, you're not getting pressure from Husqvarna or anything like that. You've got a perfect little balance on that. But is it important for any athlete now? See, I'm kind of contradicting the own answer here, because it's like, do it if it feels natural. But it's almost like as brands, sponsors, it's a bit like, well, has the sport turned into you have to become?
No, I don't think it is.
It depends. I think like if you're winning, well, like I say, it's a hard question to answer, because if you're winning, then that's you're gonna get sponsors, you're gonna get people who are gonna want you to be part of it. But then if you don't win and you show no personality and you've got no audience, if you've got 2 riders that aren't winning, one does a vlog a week and it's got a super engaged audience and and if you've got another rider who's not winning and also hibernates, he posts a fucking robot race report at the end of each result and saying hoping for better next weekend.
That's what
it is. You see it all the time.
Which rider is the team going to pick? But at the same time,
that's fucking so true. That statement. Hope for better next week.
It is true though, isn't it? And it's just like
I don't think it's a requirement, but I do think it's a way of athletes now. It's a really good platform for athletes to broaden your horizons.
It's hard for me to answer, because to me it is so natural.
Yeah.
But I can understand why people don't feel as comfortable, and it also is a bit. I'm saying like just be yourself, be natural, but like that's hard for some people.
Yeah, they're just not.
Some people might do that, and to be honest, I get very little hate and shit, like negativity.
What do you do about that? Just not look at it.
laugh about it.
Laugh usually. But try and if I'm feeling feisty, I'll reply back, giving them some shit back or whatever. Like,
Good lad.
I usually just say, "Don't watch."
Yeah.
Like,
You know what? That is 100%. That is 100% the attitude I have. It's a bit like at the end of the day, you're providing a free platform.
like I don't get cut up about it at all.
No.
But like occasionally, I'm like, "What the fuck are you on about?" Like I get more annoyed more than anything, but I don't take it deeply. But like for how much I put out there, I'm pretty surprised how little negativity I actually get, to be honest with you.
Aye.
So, like, my judgment might be slightly clouded in the fact, like, I know I've seen a lot of people get a lot more shit than me.
Yeah.
So, everyone's kind of different. But to me, it's just natural and is only going to help. But I also think, like, it's not essential, it's useful, but a lot of things, just with what you mentioned with, like, sponsors and stuff like that, I think the relationship you have with the sponsors is almost as important as well. Like personally, do you know what I mean? Like I think that's one thing that gets overlooked a lot. Like, yeah, the results might be what gets you the sponsor in the first place, but if you're shit crack and you've got nothing about you, if you've got a personal relationship with them and you can go in and have a coffee every time you see them, and you have a genuine connection with them, I think that also is as useful as the other stuff as well. Like I'm not saying like I'm not saying go and start fucking brown nosing every one of your sponsors and
but it's about
all the brown nosing's a total different thing, innit?
But if you're genuine and you've got to have a connection and you can have the crack with somebody, I think that's also one thing a lot of people, and I also probably, in fact, looking back, was definitely guilty of not doing that well enough, because I didn't really I wasn't like scared to talk to people, but I never used to like talking really to people like that I didn't know that well, or that I felt were like in a not authority but above us, or like someone, don't know what the right word is, but like anyone who I felt like was in a higher position that I needed to kind of respect, let's say. I didn't really, definitely not my first couple of year or so, 2 years of my career, I was almost scared to talk to them.
Stay clear. Don't leave a bad impression. Just walk away from it.
Now I've gone on. I think it's definitely only helpful to make them kind of connections and things.
It's just about people, isn't it? Chrissy was fantastic at that. He was very good at just being friendly with everybody.
I can imagine.
He could have made friends with Hitler, man. Let's face it. It's Chrissy Rouse. He would have gone, "Hello, son. Let's have a cup of tea." And he went, "All right, son, neighbour." I
think that's why he was. He's such a. It's really interesting that you say that, because he is was just a very popular character. Actually, had nothing to do with a lot of it didn't have a lot to do with his riding. It did for lots of people, but he had a lot of sponsors like that who was very loyal and friendly with.
It was just like the same with everyone in that. Like, he just dropped you a message. He just went, "Yeah, all right," and it was just like, there you go.
Even just whether they're sponsoring you, or whether you need help, like whether they're working on a different team, like it's definitely more useful to have mates rather than enemies. Put it that way. It's a nicer place to be. Like, why wouldn't you want to get on with everybody? Like, even whether on a different team, different rider. Like, it's, to me, it makes far more sense to do what you can to keep everybody happy, or as many people happy as possible, rather than going around hating everybody.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Life. So there you go. But I tell you what, now we must know your season's kind of just restarted, hasn't it? Yeah. So what's I was about to say, like, when does this season finish for you? March,
and then we have 6 weeks until the hard enduro season would start. So that's
so basically you don't get any time
longer
off.
Than normal, to be honest. We normally have like 3 or 4 weeks before.
And straight in.
Like, hard enduro season ended first weekend of November. Super enduro season started 28th of November. I mean, throughout the year, like I said, I'm fucking busy.
That's putting it lightly.
I'm busy, but like throughout the year, we do have some gaps. We'll have like 4 weeks, 5 weeks in between some rounds, but it's also that's never an off season. Still, it's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Whether it be a 5 week gap in between races, like, you're not fully switching off ever. And yeah, it's never kind of out your consciousness.
Yeah.
So it is hard. It would be nicer to have a bit of a better schedule, but I'd also probably be bored after 3 or 4 days of doing nothing anyway. So
All the road racers, listen. Listen to that, who get 6 months off.
Yeah, we get a full season off. But so between all this, when are you going to have time to get married then? I can't believe you're getting married. That's
18th of March, that's booked in. I can't forget that one.
so where's that then?
In South Africa.
In South Africa. Did he get the dad's permission? I feel like a proper 50s dad here. Did he get the permission?
Did he get permission before I dropped the knee? Did it all properly?
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe it. It's just like you're the ultimate fun lad, and you're getting married. It's surreal. It's absolutely surreal. Oh my God! But hey, have we got any more questions for the main man before we move on to the Patreon?
I was going to say we've got a load of Patreon questions
buried into the phone there. I know normally we pull up the phone and you end up just looking rude, looking like you're just like bored off your messages there. But it's right. Hold on. What have we got?
I spotted one earlier that I really wanted to ask. I'm trying to find it.
Go for it then. Absolutely go. You got any questions for us while we're doing this? That's good. No, perfect. Right.
It's hard. It's hard. I'm trying to think. I listened to your is it psychiatrist?
Aye.
Mental. What's his
Sports psychologist.
Psychologist. I listened to his the other day while I was driving somewhere. I quite enjoyed that.
Right? Is that something you would venture down maybe, or?
What? I mean, I've done a bit myself.
Right?
I've got a lot out of it. That's at the various points, to be honest.
That's good. That is good.
And like a lot of what he said resonated pretty good. So if anyone hasn't listened to it, I'd recommend anyone that's like wants to be competitive and help themselves. I would say that was
that was helpful answer. Because since joining Red Bull, you know, like when you think of the family elements, you know, it's like you've got because we had.
I listened to his as well.
Oh God,
Banana Bread Man.
Yeah, that Banana Bread Man. Steven Smith. Yeah. So
I listened to his. It's good. It's a good crack there, to be honest, because I know it's in Austria, but there's that many like English people work there, and obviously he's like Northern. There are a few like Northern Irish staff members as well, and like we just fucking abuse each other the whole time we're there. Like the Austrian coaches and that just think we're like about to generally start fighting, and we're just
taking the piss out of each other,
and blinding at each other from across the gym.
It's funny when you say that, because whenever I'm away racing, and we're in a hire car in Spain this year, and I spoke to my dad on the phone, and all the other lads, they're from Northern Ireland, they were like, whenever you talk to another Geordie, this sounds like you're fighting. It's like you're shouting at each other down the phone.
That's pretty much the stamp of it though. But since joining like the Red Bull side of things, you know, with the nutritionists and like doctors and everything like that, has joining Red Bull elevated you as an athlete?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like we're sponsored by Red Bull this episode, but we're not.
No, definitely. Like it is. I don't know what other people's expectations are, but it is kind of what my expectations would have been, kind of, and more. Like it's as much of like at your disposal to take it or leave it if you want. Like I've been injured. I did my shoulder this year, and I had surgery on my wrist the year before, so I've like had my money's worth already out. I've spent quite a bit of time, to say I've only been there 2 years, I've spent quite a bit of time at the APC. When I did my shoulder this year, I was in Austria anyway, and I just drove there. I didn't even tell them I was going. I just turned up on the Monday morning. I did it on the Sunday, drove there Sunday night because I was in my camper van anyway. Text the guy, I was like, fuck my shoulder, I'm at the APC now, please get someone to see me tomorrow morning because I'm in a bad way. I was pretty concussed as well, to be honest. Just text saying I've turned up, please fixes, and then I was there for like 3 weeks. And I think that's not the normal procedure. Like people don't normally just turn up out of the blue. Like I don't want like a load of Red Bull athletes to just think they can invite themselves to Austria and say Billy did it. But no, it is good, really good. So like it's nothing like specifically at that centre. There's nothing like magical happening. It's like all just normal physio, normal training, but to have everything in one place. And for me, it's like they're not having to think about anything. It's almost literally like being at school. Like you get a timetable for the week.
Yeah.
already planned out for you. It's like, and
that's
it's
cool.
literally like broke down into lessons and tells you when you have your lunch and which, man, but it's actually quite nice to just not think about anything.
I can
Literally
imagine
just
that.
like, I've got physio, I got massage in the morning, then I've got mental training, then I've got lunch, then I've got a gym session and a strength session, a conditioning session this afternoon, and like your whole schedule's
Just
done
sorted for you.
So it just allows you to kind of focus on
And
nothing else.
how often do you go and do things like that with them?
Well, it's kind of up to the athlete really. So like you can ask to go there whenever you want.
Right.
They
Okay.
obviously have like a limit and a capacity of people they can take at any one time. But yeah, you can pretty much whenever you want request to go there and stay. So like a lot of people, I've only ever been because I've been injured, but like a lot of people that'll go and do like a fitness test and then like 2 or 3 weeks of training there. They're not injured. They're literally just there to train as like a boot camp or whatever.
Like it's a bit of a kick the year off.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
like it's just
Pretty cool.
I mean, thankfully, I've been not fit enough to take part in any fitness tests at any time that I've been there. So I've literally just
Dogged it.
going in for massages and pressing a few flashing lights and stuff like that. Avoiding any actual hard work.
Good lad. Who's the best crack in the Red Bull athlete then? Out of all of them, who's the one who
It's
thought...
cool. That's the other sick part about that centre is the people you meet is just mad. Like you look at the board today and like who's in. There was, and the variety of shit going on is just madness. Like professional badminton players, fucking archery athletes, fucking
You've
like
got
it's just
axe-throwing
mental.
athletes, you've got fucking rock climbing, you've got base jumping, you've got
There was gamers in there one day, like wandering around the
Really?
gym. I'm like, who's these lot? To the coaches, like, oh, that's some Norwegian gaming team.
What?
There was like,
What were they training?
Well, they just kind of, I think, because it's quite near the headquarters, like 10 minutes away from the actual global headquarters. Like, I think a lot of people will do like foreign athletes.
Yeah.
They'll do like a trip and they'll
Just to
visit
see
there
it
and
all,
they'll spend a few days at the gym or like just getting like a full body assessment.
a few games on the Xbox.
How much does Red Bull spend on sport? Like you think F1?
It's insane. But Red Bull in general, like we were at the KTM, because obviously KTM's quite linked to Red Bull. So we had a dinner at Hangar 7, which is like the Red Bull's... It's hard to even describe what it is. It's a hangar. They have 2 hangars. One's kind of like a museum and one's like pretty active where they have
shit.
there's shit going in and out. And Red Bull have 25 aeroplanes that they own. That's like all in use.
Fucking hell. What, like for...
And that was what I learned this way. I haven't got many other facts, to be honest, but that was...
Don't know how much to spend, but it's a fucking lot.
Yeah, but they're just huge. Like everything...
They keep paying my bill, that's all.
Everything that they do is just impressive. Like literally everything. Like we went there and there's like a 2-star Michelin restaurant in the hangar, which we had dinner at, and the next day they flew us in a jet to Liverpool for the FIM Awards. Just like it's just mental. Like
I could just see you.
mental.
I could just see you walking past the Michelin chef going, "Where's the Greggs?"
No, I could do a bit of caviar, and you've got me pull neck on and a
you're
bit
a
of
change
caviar.
man.
Like,
You're a change
I'm
man.
versatile. I'm versatile. I got off the train at Central Station and went straight for a sausage and bean melt. Don't worry, there was none in they had none fucking left, so I had to go and have a
Do you know
Costa.
what? But my biggest ick is getting a cold one of them.
Well,
Oh no, the cold's all right.
no, it's got to be warm.
I don't mind. It makes like bad texture in my teeth when I have cold Greggs.
Beans, yeah.
Even like a cold steak bake, my teeth are fucked afterwards. But if you ever go to a Greggs which has a drive-through,
that
permanent hot counter, you never get a cold one from a drive-through Greggs.
No, you don't.
That's
no,
good.
you don't.
There's one in near in Ashby. I stopped there on my way to work every
There's
week.
one on the way to Killingworth.
There's quite a few popping up now, but anyway, fun fact, drive-through Greggs, counter's always hot.
Out of every athlete, right, in the world that Greg should sponsor,
I know.
it is you. The amount of times you've given them shout-outs, everything. You're from the Northeast. It was made in the Northeast.
It's meant to be, I think.
It is meant to be.
I think it'll happen one day.
And I hope it does.
Persistent, like...
And by the way,
I'm committed. It's not like I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, there's that.
Greg's will be watching this. We've got him anyway.
That's true. Well, look, Pret do like a croissant with cheese and ham in it, which is warm, and that's quite good. But it's a bit southern going for Pret in it.
No, you can't be taking
I like
that.
Pret, but it's fuck me, it's expensive.
You live far too
You
down
can't.
south now. That's your
you never
bother.
ever can look at how much you're spending in motorway services. If you started doing that, you'd be depressed, man.
It's so bad. But it's when you
just
go
can't do
to
it.
when you go to a Greg's not at a services and you know the price of everything, then you go
There's
to
a
one in the
pound up.
services. Holy fuck! I hate that.
Go on, let's work out a question while I'm
Fair,
emailing
we've
Greg's.
answered quite a few of these. One from Jess Mortimer, which I think is pretty good, is it says that you're a fair few years younger than Jess, and probably most of the other patrons. He's saying, what do you think the world of motorcycling needs to engage younger people?
I've got an answer for that.
What?
I don't think it's got a problem.
was gonna
Engaging
say,
younger people. I think there's
mean,
like
I
every
was-
athlete starting at like 4. You
I
started
was
at
locked in from the age of 2 years old. Like,
Yeah, but I think he probably means just not necessarily becoming athletes, because
I mean, it's not.
on a spectator point of view.
I think just
It's
in general in
not-
interest, it's not
it
a
is
popular
hard,
thing
like,
anymore.
it's not as accessible as football.
Yeah.
It's never going to be.
no.
And I think more kind of media attention,
Yeah,
easier to watch races would probably be quite a big thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's hard for me to answer because from my earliest memory, I was locked in. And
yeah, that would have been
that's all I wanted to do, all I wanted to watch, all I wanted to read.
But do you not think so?
It's quite hard to change a biased mind, isn't it? 'Cause for us, this is our world, isn't it? But to engage people now...
I think he's probably if you look at motorcycling in general, so like look at just riding bikes on the road, young people just don't really aren't as
no, people don't
I
get the
guess
bike
the
licenses.
concept, but like everything's shit now, isn't it? Like a young kid goes and gets a bike and then gets fucking caught speeding. That's his driving license gone.
Gone,
For fucking,
yeah.
That's his job gone. That's his not
Well, you
getting
can't
any
get
money.
it.
Like there's just so much consequence to everything these days. Like,
Well, and if you bought a bike, it's going to get nicked.
well, that's the shit part. Like that's another part. Like of Andorra, like the safety of the place and how nice it is to live like that. Like I come back here and I just skits. I'll fucking
Aye.
park in a car park and I'm just like fucking this space, that space. Like that one's back doors are blocked in, but maybe it looks too obvious. Then should I just go
Aye.
park next to a load of cars so they can't like.
Yeah.
That skits so bad in this country, and it's
It's
horrible.
sad, that, isn't it?
It is.
You just actually reminded us there. We were watching that 24 Hours in Police Custody this morning, and a guy chased 2 guys that robbed. You've probably seen this in the news. 2 guys came to his house while he was in it with crowbars to burgle it, because he had a motocross bike in the garage, and they reckon that's what they were going for. He's chased them out of the house, hopped in his car, drove down the road, give them a little tactical nudge, which has fucked them off into a parked car. He's crashed his car. Them 2 were pretty seriously injured. Then he got arrested, obviously. During this whole period when they were like gonna go to court and everything, the same 2 guys who he chased and put in hospital got arrested again in a stolen car with tools to go and rob another car, and they got community service, and that guy who chased him went to prison for 2 years.
I'm not at all surprised. It's,
How mental is that?
I hate it. It's.
I can't believe it.
That's happened loads, hasn't it? People breaking into like house, and the person who owns the house is beating up the burglar, and then the burglar's sued the person who's they've broken in. You think, what a broken word! Like I feel like we've turned in the time to like opinion. Oh shit, what have I done? Oh no, we're back on. I think we are. I've busted.
Wrecking the gaff.
No, it's still recording. Keep talking that story.
No, it's horrible.
It's so frustrating, that, isn't it? And the crime thing around like motocross, so a little bit different for us growing up with road racing, but I know so many people have had motocross bikes stolen and stuff like that. Like it's
and
it's
even
massive.
just like the places to go, like you can't go anywhere.
No.
Like there's nowhere to just ride.
Yeah.
Like open field, a pit, a fucking disused quarry. Like you go in there and you get treated like a criminal.
Aye.
Yeah.
Like
If you give everyone somewhere to ride, it's what's
you
the problem?
go in there and you go to wherever. That's just an old bit of land or whatever, and the police.
Not really harming anyone.
The
Like
police turn up. I have a Section 59 or whatever it's called. You get two of them, they take your bike off. You get treated like such a criminal.
Yeah, it's horrendous, really. Isn't it?
Which doesn't help. But I think maybe it's just a bit easier or more stuff to watch, I guess. But does anyone even watch TV anymore?
I just think we've got a bit of a.
I don't watch.
Wait, I'm not
normal TV.
ever,
No.
Ever for,
I don't have normal TV. I just have Netflix
I don't
and
have
YouTube.
normal TV. Yeah.
But then, like, yet again, you're doing your bit of it. You know what I mean? Like with the vlogs and keeping people
I
involved.
think that engages people in the sport, doesn't it? Or
does,
maybe it encourages younger lads into the sport if they find it that way.
Yeah, I do think like the few races I do in England, like the response I get is so good from like people coming saying like, oh, we're not into bikes, but he loves watching you, and like, or like they might
That's
not
cool.
even say that, but you can often tell like
They're not biking families.
They're not in the know of here, but they're like, oh, he watches all the videos, blah blah blah. So like, and that's cool, like really cool. So yeah, I don't know. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, people enjoy it.
Damn right, we just all have to move out of England. Any bike fans listening to this will just move down Dora.
That's also not
and
the
it's
best.
a tax haven, by the way.
It's not the best for riding like open space. We should all just find a new country or a new island and just.
New
Colonise
planet and
it,
bugger off. I love it.
I think we've answered a couple of these other ones. Like the Dakar question was in there a little bit. Lots of people just.
Who said that question? I want you to read the names out. We've got to get the shout out to the patrons.
Max Mayers, saying the same thing. Would you ever do the Dakar? Basically, yeah.
It's just a lot of love towards you, mate.
And
it's
a
like
lot of
Craig
love,
Loud.
yeah.
Just
Do they
firstly
like
love
us?
all the vlogs and like all the content from Billy and Roxy Cam.
Paul the Pump.
Oh shit, Paul.
Who's
But I don't
Paul
want to
the
know who
Pump?
Paul the Pump. Here's a good question from Craig there. What's the flicking? I can't even operate an iPhone. Never mind anything else. What's the worst and best decision you've made in your career? Or you could be here all night on that one. What's the one thing in biking you've not done that that you'd love to do at least once? Now that's a good question.
Paul.
That bucket list. I know you're not going to give anything away, but give everyone a teaser. Let's give it like.
I struggle to make decisions though. Like picking one, that's like just. I know it means nothing. It's just on this podcast, but it's like that's a stressful situation for me to pick one answer. Yeah.
I want to get on the podium in a C-class motocross race. That's my next goal. That is 100% man. And you've both seen me ride, and you think that is an impossible task.
I don't think it's impossible.
Well, last time we spoke, I did the backflip on a pit bike. So
I did actually say that's fucking impressive.
Not the sandbag, nothing. I just built a jump and like sugar tit sorted that one out, and I just went, I'm gonna do this. There you are. But I want to do that on a full bike now. That's the next stage. Because you've done it on a trials bike. He sent me the video. He said, he did it on a trials bike when he were like, what?
17.
Just dug a ditch, just went straight for it on a trials bike. So that's my next goal. Is win a motocross race.
See, Paul the Pump, what a name. His question's pretty good. He says, if you come to the Isle of Man for the TT, would you do the Douglas Beach race, please?
Yes.
I would do it if I was there. I like beach races. I really, really enjoy doing beach races, to be honest.
Oh, you've got to do that. Have you been over the Isle of Man?
Yeah, I've been once. It was the fucking maddest thing I ever seen.
It's class, isn't it?
It was so sick. Like I said, I'm such a fan of everything. I still watch everything, but and my dad and his mates are like just that typical era of like road bikes.
Yeah.
Never raced or anything, but like him and his mates would go like Nürburgring trip once a year, like go to Bordeaux, go to Le Mans, like they're just.
That's cool.
Him and his mates are like even more bike obsessed than I am. Like I'm pretty bike obsessed, but also like when I look at them and how they go on, I'm just like, wow, they're like pretty fucking hardcore. So anyway, I went with him and his mate one year. I've only been once. I wanted to go back literally ever since, but I only went for one day and it was fucking
mint,
insane.
Class.
Like that first time you see a bike come past, I don't think I've ever had a feeling like it, because it's just like what you're seeing in your eyes isn't real life.
Yeah, I know.
You're just like that can't happen. that cannot happen. Wow.
It's the noise of them coming that got me, you know.
That's your first time there,
yeah,
and all,
like the noise of them coming for ages, like coming off down into the crag. You can hear them coming for so long, and you're like, "Fuck me, that thing's gonna blow up in a minute."
I'm surprised it doesn't. The shame Red Bull aren't getting involved in road racing. they just don't, like, they haven't, I don't think they've ever had a presence in road racing. But when you think Monster, like Monster Energy are heavily involved, and there's obviously different reasons.
I think they've kind of seen Monster. For them to compete with a Monster, I think it would be a big effort. I have no idea. Like, I could be talking pure shit here.
It'd have to be a big thing.
For them, they wouldn't want to half do it. And for them to then get on a level of Monster, like, that's a big thing, operation. Yeah. That's what I would guess anyway. Like, I've got no actual idea, but like, Monster pretty much took it over.
On that side of things. No, I've always wondered that, and that's probably.
I would guess anyway.
Yeah, I know, like, guess.
If you look around, they're either on a similar level, like kind of MotoGP. They're both involved with, like, half of them are Red Bull.
And half of them are
half of them are Monster. My Worlds is all Red Bull. They're either kind of even or like one takes over. There's not one where they're never out of place. Do you know what I mean?
I know it makes like the yin and yang. It doesn't matter which side you look at that side of things. But no, what have I done to this? Is that switched off for you as well?
No, it's still on for me.
Oh, thank God for that.
Mine's switched off, but it's all right.
But no, going on that side of things, must say thank you to Jess, Erin, Dan, Craig. Who else have we got? Paul the Pump, Max Myers. Thank you to all our patrons for getting involved and asking all them questions. But let's that was it. I'm trying to work for me all mine. My final question: have you met Marc Marquez?
No.
Oh well, there goes that. That was the easiest answer.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, pretty sure not. I've met quite a lot of them guys, to be fair, but I don't.
Not really impressed by them.
No, I am.
You do come across as like an actual bike fan, though. Like,
no, I am. I've watched every. Like, to be honest, like, I've met most of them.
Class.
The current ones, and like I've get on sound with them, whatever. But then last year at the FIM Awards, Rossi was there, and I just
did your head roll off?
Shit myself. Like, I was gone. Roxy's like, "Do you want a picture?" I was like, "No, no, I can't." Like, I just froze.
Did he talk to you?
No, I didn't even want to talk to him. My bollocks just disappeared. I was gone.
Is that the first time you've been starstruck then? With how can it not be? It's Rossi.
He's the goat.
I was just couldn't even compose myself. Like, I could have just fucking walked off and cried. I was done in, but like, I think it was just because I had so many memories as a kid. Like,
watching
now I see quite a lot of them in Spain or whatever, or quite a lot of them live in Andorra, so you bump into quite a few of them. But like, I think there's just different. I've got so many memories from Rossi and from being so young. I literally just froze. Like, I realised it was him who stood there, then Roxy was like, "Do you want a picture?" And I was just like, "No." And then I was like, "Fuck, I wish I got one." So then I went to try and find him again, and then he was gone. He didn't last long. Like, once the ceremony had finished, he like stood up. Everyone got on the stage for like a group picture, and then he was hanging around speaking to a few people. And like, when I was just like, "Oh." And then 2 minutes later, I changed my mind. I was like, "Oh, actually, I want to go and get one." And he'd gone, just out the back door, gone.
I do not know how we're going to do this, but if anyone can do it, is you. Get Billy Bolt to Rossi's rant.
Now, I'd love to have a rip of that.
Yeah.
Now, proper enjoy riding flat track. Like,
I'm building one.
It's
like the K-Tech lads have lowered the shocks and everything like that. I'm just getting the wheels.
19-inch wheels.
Yeah, getting the wheel so.
Well, because they'll cheat and ride super motorbikes with wet tyres in Spain, but I do it the proper way.
Oh no, I've got the 19 inches on it and everything like that. So I know it's you going
all in.
Oh, well, I was about to say you'll be committing to a season. You won't have time to go out and piss around in Spain on flat track bikes, will you?
Once a week, I find the time. No, probably after Christmas I'll start riding it a bit. I haven't rode since last year, but I do proper enjoy it.
Oh no, Sam, have you got a TT brake on yours, or is it a proper like?
I've got two brakes.
Two brakes. You've got the TT hub on the front. No, that's what I'm gonna do. 100%. I'm determined to win this £100. You know that, don't you? That's what I'm building.
That Jack's sick. Are you going to be in Spain at all with it?
Mate, I will drive to Spain. For that £100, I'm coming out.
Whenever you're there, I'll be there.
Mate, you just let me. right.
For that 100 quid,
You know-
you'll
you know-
spend 4
no, I'm
grand
sorry.
on coming to Spain.
I'll tell you what, right? Just to make to get used to vlogging, I'm going to vlog this challenge and then
I'm all
vlog
in.
the challenge. Right, you let me know when you get a day off. I'll fuck trees off.
Well, no,
happily.
whenever you're there, I'll make a plan to get there.
I've never been in the great words of hold on. I've been to Spain once. There was this year in Navarra. But I will get in a van, chuck the flat track in a van. You just send me a pin drop, son. Me and Josh will turn up with the coffees and that. It'll be good crack, man.
It's good crack.
No, I'm definitely up for that one. But
yeah, fuck Rossi's Ranch, I'd be all in.
I think, well, why would that not work?
No, it probably would. So
Let's get this done.
Salvini, who's quite an old famous enduro Italian rider, was there too for his race 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, well, the thing is, you're not a mug on one, so he doesn't invite just like Tom Ward, British Superbike, because he rode with Dionysi levers. That's what you need to do.
I think Brad Ray went and
Dionysi. You know what you need to do? You need to put one vlog out about Dionysi levers, and they'll go, "Hey, our son, you just go off and go to the ranch."
I'd probably that
He's thinking
myself.
about. Look
I
at
wouldn't
him.
want to go. I'd be too scared.
Shut up, man! You shite bag.
Honestly, that was
man.
mad. To be honest, I also had similar with Travis Pastrana.
No, that would
bit
be
of a freeze, but. I met him the night before and I was fucking chewing his ear off because I was half cooked, and then I seen him the next morning. And my bollocks had just disappeared the next morning. I was like, I'm not going to ask for a picture now.
Was he just Travis? Was he just
It was at Goodwood.
right?
And I met him at the ball. This is quite fucking bizarre. He asked me for a photo at Goodwood and the ball, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Okay.
and then I was chatted to him for like quite a while at the night time, and then seen him in like the driver's lounge the next morning, and I was like, I'm going to ask, because the photo was on. Oh, that's the worst part. The photo was on his phone. I don't have it.
You
I've
didn't
never
have the
seen
photo.
it. I got a picture.
That's a bigger brag.
One
That
of the
he's
guys-
walking around going, I've got a photo
One
of
of the
Billy Bolt.
guys, one of my mates, or lad I know, he's got like a picture of someone taking it, but it's pretty shit and blurry.
Yeah.
And I've got no recollection. I DM'd him asking for it. He didn't answer. He doesn't follow us about. But he asked for the picture. It's on his phone, and I've not even seen it. And then so the next morning, I was like, I'm going to go and ask for one on my phone. I seen him in like the driver's lounge and stuff, and I like my bollocks had just disappeared then. So I was like, I'm fine.
Because he's no longer a Red Bull. He's a Black Rifle Coffee, isn't he? On the veteran side of things. So that's anyway. We're going to end up going on a total different tangent on that side of things.
That's
So.
only 2 little stories when my balls have shriveled up and I've got turned into a pathetic little wimp.
Right, so now we need to get Travis Pastrana at Rossi's Ranch and you
And
rock
the
and race.
3-way for a little flat track session. That'd be nice. If someone could arrange all of that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Grace is a powerful woman, so if she runs this podcast, she'll drop a few emails out there and we go from there.
I'll get the 2 of them round to your motocross race and watch you in the
C race.
We'll all go and have a day at schoolhouse.
I'm up for that. Mate, I'm desperate to have that. Like I don't. The only trophies I've ever kept is me TT replicas. You know what I mean? I've only given 5 of them ever away. But if when we got to, what is it?
Northeast MX
He's
Manifesting. I'm going to manifest this trophy. I want me podium spot C class. But mate, I tell you what, right? I've only done one motocross and it was in the B's, and I watched the C race.
That one in Scotland.
What? Wow. You know, no. I was in the A class because they didn't have any room in the B. And mate, I just got destroyed. You were there?
I didn't know. I was just there with my sister because I was flying somewhere from Edinburgh Airport that night, so I just went to watch.
When Lewis Rollo was there, Sugar Tits was there. I went with that, and my mate Forrest Dunn was there, and then Billy Button. I was just like, you couldn't have had the worst person watching this at all. I couldn't believe it. It was supposed to be a flat track. Scrubble field, mate. It was just rutted up, and
it's sick, that place, to be honest. I went the year before.
No, but you can hold on. You can ride a bike
to the first round of the championship, and it was a grass field, like completely flat. At the first round, completely grass field, and I'm like, my bike's got paddle tire on. Like everyone said, this was deep sand, and like you couldn't even see sand. It was a grass field, and the guy's like, nah, it'll be fine. 1 lap of practice, and the whole track's like sand this deep, like it's mad.
Was it? And is it got jumps and stuff on it?
No, it's just field. but just
I
deep
wouldn't
sound,
mind
like
that.
whooped out. It's really. I haven't done it for. I only did it that one time. I think it was the year before actually that you were there. But I've wanted to go back ever since. And I might actually try and I'll look what the dates are for this winter.
I think they're already out actually. Sugar's trying to talk me to go back, and I did such a shit job of that. I'm like, no way. You know what I mean? I want to do it like Schoolhouse. That's my C class champion. That's me hope. That I'll send you a photo of it when I get it. I'll invite you. I'll do it. But there we go. Right. So, have we got any more questions before the boring tidy up here?
No, you do your sponsor reads, get your bills paid.
Damn right. You've got to keep gracing the job. Happy days. So, like I was saying before, we have one more spot available on the main board alongside with Alan Garner, OMG Racing. They are the main sponsors on this side of things.
I'll listen to his podcast with you as well.
Alan Garner's?
Is that the
He owns OMG Racing.
Yeah, the prostate guy.
Yeah.
Indeed,
I actually listened to that one as well. Actually, I've low-key listened to quite a few of yours like, when I think about it.
Oh, God. That's even worse.
Nah, I mean...
your bollocks shrivelling up. My bollocks are shrivelling up. Yeah,
We're having a Travis Pastrana moment here.
Now you mentioned it, I think of the journeys I was on when I was listening to it, and I remember that one specifically. I was driving from Andorra back to England in my camper van.
Yeah, because like fair play for coming on the show and actually just going, look, I've been diagnosed with this, and he's just get tested. And the amount of messages that we've had on socials saying,
I can imagine,
like saying I've been tested. Thank you for sharing that. And
I can well imagine that for sure.
And then it's good. At the end of the day, we're sitting in a living room in County Durham, chatting shy, but it's nice that to be helping people in that. Man.
Is it actually Durham?
It is Durham, man.
Are you sure?
Northumberland's just on
It's
the
fucking miles away from my house, put it that way.
mate, he texts me going, fucking how far in the sticks here? I went, I'll get your tweeds out.
Far from the city out here.
Love it. But like I say, we have one more spot available, and please email Grace on chasintheRacin@outlook.com to fill that side of things. But we have individual episode sponsors, and this one is being brought to you by Hold on, I'm going to get this wrong. This is a great way to get the sponsors in. Vitapulse. Yeah, who's that bloke off is it Ron Burgundy? Anchorman, when he says he'll read anything off the rolling screen, that's exactly like me. This could be anything right now, exactly, straight into it. So Vitapulse are a new premium health and fitness brand. Their mission is 1, to provide high quality products to help their customers reach their fitness goals. 2, to share expertise from the industry, expert on health and nutrition and exercise. Number 3, to inspire our customers to actively contribute to shaping our brand and products offerings. There we are. Find our new product, a 1 litre gym bottle that keeps contents hot or cold up to 24 hours. On Amazon, search in Vitapulse. Follow them on Instagram at Vitapulse to keep them in touch with the brand and for future product offerings. There you are.
Could have done with a pre-recording on that one.
Good enough. I know. He's got his own brand called Ride Nutrition, but anyway, we'll talk about that. I know it. Well, we're kind of going to piggyback that. Let's talk about it now. How's that going?
Nah, it's good. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just fucking winging it. But
what is it, like a supplement?
Yeah, supplement. So we started in
steroids. Hard steroids mixed with cocaine. That'll make you go faster.
We started as a it still is this product, but like a nitrate supplement product. So like the equivalent of like a beetroot juice, style. Like so the what's the word? The part of the beetroot drink or beetroot products that is useful is nitrate.
Right.
So
you can have your drink and it doesn't taste like shit.
So yeah,
basically.
ours tastes very nice and has.
Have you had them beetroot shots before?
No.
Well, Jack was drinking them last year, and holy fuck, it's disgusting.
They don't. I can manage them, but they don't smell good. They don't taste good. Your teeth go fucking purple.
Yeah.
But anyway, our product's got more nitrates in it than they have, and another like substance called Montmorency Cherry, which has just got a lot of health benefits for oxygen transport related, which nitrate basically increases the amount of uptake each red blood cell can do of oxygen. Some scientists are probably going to shout at us that I've said that wrong, but I think that's more or less what it does. Basically, you get more oxygen transported around your body.
We're pirate radio. You can say what you want. You can say it takes you to the moon and back.
Well,
I won't believe you.
You fly. You'll be 3 seconds of that faster minimum.
No, so that's a Red Bull, gives you wings.
So anyway, that was like what we started off as to make like a nitrate product which tasted good.
Oh, cool.
Was you can mix it with as much or as little water as you want. Blah blah blah. So started off with that product, which went pretty well, and then we have a few more now. We've got like a typical like energy drink carbohydrate mix, which you would have like, so that's the nitrate product is like recommended before exercise. Nitrate, the carbohydrate for like during exercise.
Yeah.
Some like a hydration tablet with like your sodiums.
I could have done one of them this morning, I think.
Yeah, get the sodium levels back up, right? So that's like a low calorie option just to replace your salt sweats. And then we've just launched last week some like gels as well, carbohydrate gels and stuff. So it's going all right. Like, it's me and two of my mates pretty much. One friend who done all the university and the studying and kind of his
the brain box
his formulas. He did like his what's it called, your dissertation on nitrate and stuff like that.
So he knows his shit.
He's done the supplements and like he's done the research and his kind of ideas. And then I obviously knew quite a lot about it and was interested in that side of stuff. In the nitrate and beetroot stuff as it was anyway. So I was kind of like asking him, kind of knew he had this project and idea kind of going and he was thinking about it for a while. So I was just asking him one day how it was going and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm pretty ready. I'm like happy with everything. Just kind of need to actually do it. So then I was like, well,
I'll do it.
What do we need to do? Let's just do it. And then, like I said, the three of we don't really know what we're doing, but we're still
making it work.
Still alive. We had it's been cool. Like, just nice to learn about that something new and like the businesses, and like we got fucked over quite a bit with the first supplier we used, but we've learned like what we should have asked, what we didn't ask, what we could have done differently and stuff like that. And it's fun. Like, it's not huge. Like, we're fucking definitely not retiring from it anytime soon. But like, it's cool. Like, we do a few sponsors with a few riders.
Looking for ambassadors on the socials and that side of things. It's a growing
but it's like little doing like negotiations with some young riders and stuff like that. It's all pretty like low key, relatively speaking. But that's just something I've enjoyed doing, really. And actually, it's growing. We're still alive 2 years in, and
class, sounds good.
Expanding products and whatever. I might have a bottle popped up there. I want a bit more enthusiasm from the read, though. If you're going to be reading one of mine,
mate, I'm literally going like.
Well, I want some. You can bit of homework before you come to the show. If you're going to be reading one of mine.
Well, on that note, the good thing is you can buy. Hold on. The good thing is you can buy a Vitapulse bottle.
I was going to say, these poor fuckers, you haven't even finished their read yet, and I've stole the show. Yeah, they're going to be invoicing me for half or whatever they pay.
Hold on. It's called cross-pollination because the thing is, your Vitapulse bottle that you can get from Amazon,
keep our Ride Nutrition intro cool for the entire workout.
Or hot or cold, you see. You get it from Amazon. Cross-pollination. Right. Vitapulse links up with Ride Nutrition. I can see it now. It's a beautiful... Yeah, like you say, I should have done more homework. So I do apologise.
I think you've picked it up at the end, though. The enthusiasm you've just finished and done the last two sentences with.
Well, for the whole interview, this little bit.
Vitapulse would be happy with your enthusiasm of the last two sentences. They've finished on a happy note.
Can you say Vitapulse one more time?
Vitapulse.
There you are. See, that's worth the victory right there, 100%. But seriously, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode, because without our patrons, our main sponsors, and without yourselves, Vitapulse, these episodes wouldn't be happening. So you're absolutely amazing. But from Grace's point of view, we've got to push, which is online now, our merchandise range, and it's coming. And even in the note, it's on the run up to Christmas. We still have hats, caps, mugs, travel mugs, bags, key rings, and quick shifter. Now the good thing is, Quick Shifter Coffee have come on board and they're doing a limited edition of Chrissy Rouse Chrissy Blend. And there's going to be 69 bags available, and every year they're going to release a collector's edition, and they're going to do limited edition and different styles of bags, which is absolutely fantastic. Chrissy originally sourced the Quick Shifter deal, and they're a family firm, and it's fantastic that it's growing. They're going into different sports as well.
You had one of their coffees earlier.
I know.
Did we have Quick Shifter in here? Or,
that's what.
Or were we just doing a bit of false advertisement on the cup?
No.
Because that one I had was lovely.
Actually, I tell you what, you take a couple of bags home with you on that, because like a tea bag. So it's just coffee in a bag.
Handy for the motorhome, and that's where I take them away on my bike. They're very good for that.
This is where Stephen rings up going, don't give my athletes any of that coffee. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. But I tell you what, because you're like the Bennett's number one fan, you can do the Bennett's message.
I got it wrong last week, apparently. Sorry, Chris.
You can fix that. So I'm being serious. You're doing that.
I got a bollocking for that off Grace. Sorry. So obviously Bennett are still sponsoring the podcast, and
it's not easy, is it?
The stuff that they do at BSB, I don't know if you've seen any of it. So they do like
I did actually. I went to, what round did I go to?
Donington.
It was they question to each other.
Yes, Donington.
What, every round you mean?
Well, no, because I was stood watching there. I fucking love to be on the fucking pit lane on the grid right now, and then in one of them boxes when these two get back.
Oh God!
To be fair, when we had Tommy Ridewell on last week, and when he was telling me that story, I was thinking, I know, because I was stood in the pit perch next to their team, and they literally just closed the lids.
I heard it just went down.
I was like trying to do the pit board, and I couldn't concentrate because I was trying to watch what was going on over there. Anyway, but yeah, so the Bennetts do these like amazing experiences at all the BSB rounds with they have like a pit perch that you can go on and stuff, and they normally have a garage at the end of pit lane, laps in the pace car, etc. You get access to all of that if you're a Bike Social member. You can be a Bike Social member now for free on the Bennetts website, if you take an insurance policy.
There you are. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So do you have to pay to go on the pit lane thing?
So if you're a Bike Social member, you get access to it. So you can't just go in. You have to be a Bike Social member,
But then you still have to pay extra still, or
no, that's it.
Oh, really? Because like I was actually thinking, whilst you were reading it, like I'm pretty spoilt whenever I go to places like that. But like I remember when I didn't used to, and I used to go and watch a MotoGP at wherever, and like
you would love to get that access.
Yeah, like what they actually get is pretty fucking mad. Like it's good shit. While I was there, I was like, fuck, it's like not the whole idea of it. I think is.
But even like the pace car laps and stuff, and sometimes they'll let people hand the trophies out and stuff, which is really, really good. Like I've seen people crying over that. People get so excited.
But just being there, like I will just stand in a pit lane and watch people. Like people watch all day long. Like that's like my favourite part of being there. And like I'll go with Tommy and Eddie, who are just so fucking impatient and want to leave, and like they're like, race done, let's go. And I'm like, I just want to watch like
what the crack is.
Push the
bikes back.
The fucking wheel trolleys back to the wagons, and I just enjoy watching like the weirdest shit. So which is to do that though is like not such a common occurrence, and for like anyone to get amongst this is pretty sick. I don't know, I might be weird and no one else might enjoy just people watching like I do.
No,
whenever I go somewhere like that, I'm just stood just watching the randomest things.
But like he says about the Bennetts, like you get a bike policy, so even if you have like a scooter or a Harley, but if you got a Harley or like a super bike, doesn't matter what you got.
The podcast anytime soon.
Not anymore, Dom.
They're called Hardly Dangerouses, man. They're just crap. They're not more.
Fucking hell. Moving on.
No, but seriously, you get a policy and you can go, and they're not shooing you out. It's down there, you can enjoy it fully all day. But there we go.
I had a thing at at Thruxton this year on the inside of church, which is like the fastest corner in the country. And I cycled down the track on a Thursday night, and I thought, like, who the fuck's having that there? And then I realised that a bus on, and they were bussing people down to it. Like, you'd never get that anyway. Can you imagine going to MotoGP and getting a stand on the inside of the circuit?
Nah, you're not getting it. But there we go. But I tell you what, we're going to have to wrap it up there, gentlemen. And more importantly, thank you so much, Billy Bob, for coming back on the show. It's been absolutely great crack, and I hope that Poppadom hasn't absolutely knocked your chest. Yeah, that's
it's
it.
Gone now, I'm alright.
Gaviscon's in the pocket at the ready.
Here we go, it's gone. And then full night's sleep would be nice. I've had a busy few days, but no, thank you. I've been, like I say, I didn't actually realise how much you do actually listen to, but I'm quite a fan really on the sly.
We've never listened to your shit
When
ones,
I
don't
actually
we?
think about it. So no, thank you for the entertainment that you provide me with. And like I say, I'm pleased we got to line it up. 25 hours in the northeast, so I'm happy to spend a few of them with a few lovely
Well,
people.
thank you very much.
I appreciate
thank you
it.
very,
Thanks
very
very
much. And no, we'll have a safe journey home in this treacherous weather. But we'll go
Merry
from
Christmas.
shit the bed. This will be going
Christmas
out on
tree
the...
there. So going to be sometime soon.
Wait, I know, yeah, this will be going out. This will be getting released on the 18th. I've probably got that wrong. People shouting down there, down at their tellies. But yeah, Merry Christmas. That's terrible. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. See you in a bit.
In a bit.